All right. Check my desk a little closer. There we go. Mic a little closer. Okay. Okay, happy Tuesday. Hello, Ace. Thanks for the heartbeat. Sharks. Sharks. There it goes. All right. So we're going to pull in the alt account. And hope everyone's having a happy Tuesday. I certainly am. Okay. Let's see if we can get these guys multi-guested. Can they join? Good afternoon, Durango. Doesn't look like they can join from the computer, huh? You guys know of a way to join from the computer? I don't think there is, huh? Well, lazy play games. According to 1 Peter 3, verse 15, you're to give me a full accounting of the hope that's within you. So what is that? Hello, hello, Athera Ember. Hey. Thank you for sharing it out. Appreciate that. And resist oppression. Good to see you. Good to see you, friends. So that's what we're kind of operating on today. So we're going to be talking to mostly Christians today. We're going to talk about whether or not you can save my soul. But see, here's the thing. I'm not sure if you think I'm going to be forever tortured, then thank you, 3 pips. And thanks for the heart, Mies Ember. If you think I'm going to be tortured forever, well, this is like a pretty critical situation, right? So what would you say? Right? So it's like your responsibility. Oh, yeah. I got to make sure I'm on Bible Gateway. That's the other thing I got to do. So let me bring that up. Oh, All right. Bible Gateway. Yeah, I've been really thinking about what Dr. Elijah was saying last week when he was a co-host. And I've been really sitting on that. It was a pretty some poignant things that he said. So it's literally a Christian's job to convince non-believers. It's literally their job. And so can't say things like, well, I can't do that, only God can. No, God gave you the command to do that. You can't say, well, go look it up, or you just want to sin or anything like that. I mean, you have to convince me. I mean, that's literally your job. It's a command from your God. So that's what we're going to be looking to do today. God touched you? Oh, well, I don't want God touching me. But how does any of this convince me? I mean, great, God touched you, but yeah, in a bad way. Drumming type sound in the background. It might be the fan from my my laptop. That might be what it is. Let's see what I can do to. Yeah, I tried to make it a little more silent, but it doesn't look like it's working very well. So hopefully it doesn't detract too much. God's forgiveness is way superior towards earthly judgment. Well, why do we even need forgiveness in the first place? God saved you from your own sins. How do we know that's true? So we have a chance to be with him and not be here forever instead. And how do we know any of that's true? See, Ariana, you got to convince me that's true. How do you know that? Proverbs 23:9-11. Don't waste your breath on fools, for they will despise wisdom. Oh, Ghost. I guess Ghost wants to go to hell too. See, here's the thing. I'm a non-resistant non-believer. Should I change maybe I should change my big title to that. I'll change it to I'm a non-resistant non-believer. Maybe that's what I'll do. And we'll see if that changes anything. We'll make that a little smaller. Let's see. How about 84? Not 968. 84. That's a little better. Yeah, I got to fix this up. So give me a second, everybody. Let's see what that does. That's a little better. Okay. That's not going to work. Hold on. Still working this out. All right. That might work. And we'll move this down a little. Oops. Move this down. Oops, not that far down. There we go. Okay. There we go. Let's see how that looks on TikTok. Yeah, that works. Okay. Make it smaller. All right. How's that look on everybody's phones? Is anything Comic Sans? That is Comic Sans. Oh, yeah, it's too big. Yep, I see it. All right, here. Thanks for the suggestions. That's funny. That is Comic Sans. Okay, how's that look? You know, this mobile preview thing on, okay, that's a little better. It's like a little bit to the right. So maybe I should move it to the left just like a little bit. There we go. Something like that, right? Okay. We're going to roll like that. There we go. That satisfies your OCD. Yeah, it kind of does for me too. I can't have it like off to the right. Hey.
You're such a small window right now.
I'm such a small window. You mean like my opportunity to get saved? Is that what you mean?
I mean, on my screen there's a 3x3 grid of there's 7 guest request spots, and I'm in the 8th one, and you're like in the top left corner.
Oh yeah. Well, see, on my thing, you're like way on the bottom.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and you know it's interesting. Yeah, I tried to. Oh, yeah, you kicked me off because I was logged in on the computer, but that's okay.
Oh.
No, it's all good. I'll log in. But see, the thing is I can't be like on the co-host panel. That's the only problem. So I have to log in. I have to log in as my other alt.
I really came on this one because I thought you were still out, like you couldn't get in, so I can leave and come back as mine.
Well, problem is, yeah, I'm having like issues. Like my main account, like I posted 2 videos and like they only have like 2 views, and so I'm in the support queue, but I'm like 195, like number 195. So I think I'm just gonna leave. And so I don't know, man. We'll figure it out. But here's what we'll do. We're gonna reopen that tab, but I'm just going to I'm gonna log in as my other alt, just so I can get the chat window. Oh wait. Oh, looks like I'm in. Oh, how about that? All right. It works. Okay, we're good. Oh, because he left. That's why. He didn't even tell me. All right. Okay, so let's see if we can get someone to convince me today. I'm right here, man. I'm a non-resistant non-believer. So you give me evidence that I should worship this God, then you can convert me today. I mean, I am the mark. According to 1 Peter 3, verse 15, Matthew 28, verses 19 and 20, I am the one you need to be talking to. If you are a Christian and you want to convert people, and you potentially have 46 people here. I mean, I am the one. All right. Yeah, I am the one. So let's see what you all can say. Right? How's lunch? Lobes.
I'm eating a pack of Gushers.
A pack of Gushers
Right
for
now.
lunch? Lunch
Yeah.
of champions.
And a can of Monster.
Can of Monster. Wow. That's just like
I
the
gave him
energy
the
spike.
idea to put some Monster on his lunch. He just has to watch out for potential kidney stones, and that's the only danger, really.
Yeah, you should. You should. Well, you know, when you're giving them rhetorical backshots, you know, you need all the energy you can get, right, Cyber?
Yeah, and right, but that's something that we could have. We should implement rhetorical backshots somewhere.
Oh yeah, we totally do. Hey, Ragizi, and I'm just drinking water. That's all I'm drinking. Hot tamales. Yeah, I remember those. I used to eat those when I was in Little League Baseball. I used to eat hot tamales because that's like pretty much all the snack bar would sell. So,
did you ever graduate to really big league, like large size league baseball?
Oh no, never got that far. I think I played till I was like 14 or 15 or something like that. 13, 14. Yeah, then my dreams were dashed. I just wasn't good enough
against the Rocks. I do know a guy.
Exactly.
You're biblically dashed. I do know a guy at my work actually that used to be a Major League Baseball player, but it was very short lived.
Oh, very really?
Brief. He had an injury very early in his career. Yep.
That's cool, but yeah, man, that's just crazy. It's just crazy how like just so many. Yeah, because I think I met at least 3 people in my lifetime that like played minor leagues, and then one guy got called up to the Dodgers like in September, like when they expand their rosters, and he was on the roster for like a month, and then
really,
yeah, and then that was it. But like so many people, and which is crazy to me because you feel like, I don't know, man. It just seems like there would be, I don't know, there would just be even less people. There just seems so many people who have played like professional baseball, but maybe it's because there's so many like levels and leagues and all that.
I guess I'm surprised it's still as big as it is. I know it's like America's pastime is what it's called, but not really so much anymore. And like we've got football, which is strictly American. Like you go somewhere else, it's called American football, and that's mainly because we call that shit soccer. The other thing's soccer for some reason.
Yeah, for real, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, football is huge, easily bigger than baseball.
Yeah.
Times over.
It's just once a week, right? Basically once a week, and then basically once a week, and then like, but baseball and like baseball goes for like 6 months, and it's like every day.
Seriously, I didn't know that.
Almost every day, yeah. Well, like there's like at least a game on every day from like starting in April, so pretty soon here, up until like October. It's gonna be like a game on every day, at least one.
The baseball stadium around where I live is being torn down.
Is that right?
I don't know if it's being like replaced with another one, but it's been there since before I was born. I mean, it's an old. Not that I'm super old or anything, but it's been around. Like my dad would go there when he was a teenager, I think.
Yeah. Ragizi, your uncle was drafting out of high school. Yeah. That's so it's just like so many people. All right. Well, I think it's time to take some guests up. We got a couple who are waiting for us. So if you're in the guest queue, just make sure you're at least 18 and you're a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. And so like I said, I'm a non-resistant non-believer. So my soul is up for grabs. So let's do this. All right. And potentially Lobes's too. And, we got 49 people here, so we could may be able to see a conversion. How's it going?
Yo, it's good.
Good.
Well,
good.
I've been treated in a bad way by the Bolshevik atheists in the comments by shutting down the opposition and analyzing the believers. Okay. We all know what happened with Bolsheviks. But anyways, so you want to talk about the soul, right? Do you believe that a soul exists?
No, I don't have any evidence to support that.
So how can we save something that doesn't exist?
Well, I don't know. I mean, are you a Christian?
Well, I'm an Nabatean Ebionite, but I'm just
I don't
curious.
know what that means.
Well, you're not that educated on Christianity or in the Abrahamic religions. I'm not surprised.
Are you here to save my soul, or what are you here to do?
What's
your goal here?
But I need to. I want to save something that doesn't exist. Yeah.
You want to save
But
something
in
that
matter of
doesn't
fact,
exist?
yeah, according to you. But I have a question. How do you know I'm not your God? You got the jackpot here. How do you know I'm
Yeah, I
not
don't
your
know.
God?
I don't know.
I could be your God, right?
Okay, you
That
could
would
be.
him.
Okay, so I'm saying to you, you're saved.
I'm saved?
Is that okay?
All
Yeah.
right.
We're-
Okay, we're done.
Perfect.
All right,
All
thanks.
right, good.
All right. So I'm saved. So I guess I can just pack up and go home.
We can change the prompt. That guy was. I mean, he says, "I'm God, you're saved." That was so fast.
That was
That's
so
the most
fast. That was like 50 seconds, dude.
Yeah. Literally.
Totally. 50 seconds in and I was saved. Boom. Just like that was it. But you know, the thing is though, there's still some holes in it, right? So if he's God, well then how come he, because if God is like all knowing, all powerful, all that, he didn't know anything about me.
Well, it's weird because he did say that the soul is saved, but he did say he confirmed the soul doesn't exist. See, what
Yeah.
I thought he would do is like, oh no, the soul is real, like, but he actually confirmed it's not. Then he said that it's saved. So
Yeah.
I don't exactly. I don't know. I might have to just reconvert back to atheism until we get this.
Yeah, I think I am too. I think I'm ready to deconstruct. So
Yeah, that was good. I mean, that was great though. I mean, we were Christian for what 49 seconds or something.
Yeah, about a minute and 10 seconds. Yeah, we were Christians.
So that was impressive. That was
bad.
But it's easy come, easy go, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. Easy come, easy go. So, well, hey, maybe the next person can get us to convert for a little bit longer. So I think the record is a minute and 10 seconds.
Maybe they can get us to convert, then cap us real quick before we go back.
There we go.
And we can go, like, that's the window.
And that's the window. And then we just go to heaven. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I might be below the age of accountability still. Everybody keeps calling me a baby on here.
Well, you do have a bit of a baby face. So, I mean, it kind of tracks. I mean, yeah, you got those like cute little rosy cheeks that you just want to squeeze,
Lip Trust called me cute.
I did. Well, he is. Come on.
Well.
That got dark, Ember.
I'm like a rosy
I know.
cheek cabbage.
Yeah, and now your cheeks will get rosier. So it's kind of
yeah. Santa.
It's Claus. It's Santa Claus. So yeah. Well, I mean, there was a time when everybody was calling me your mistress. So
you're everybody? That's an interesting nickname. That was you.
Mm-hmm. That was me. Yeah.
Well, and
yeah, and it wasn't because like nothing. It didn't like break off or anything. I mean, those are just rumors, everybody. But it was just that because every time Lobes and I were like on a live together, and like he'd be a guest on my live or I'd be a guest on his wife would come in or something, and he'd be like, "Oh, hang on a second," and then he'd like leave real quick. So it's almost like he had me on the down low. Yeah. Yeah, even my wife asked
don't
about
say
it.
anything. Just be really quiet.
Yeah, just be real quiet.
Pretend you're not here.
Mm-hmm. And then he'd come back and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was just my wife. That was Don't worry.
She doesn't need to know about it."
Yeah, she didn't need to know. So I'm like, all right, well, but yeah, I mean, and we did talk today, and my wife's been out. She's out working today.
Mm-hmm. And I'm at work too, as far as my wife knows.
And you're at work. You're at work too. So yeah. So I guess in a lot of ways it's $3 6 pencils. What's the thruple?
Yeah, I don't know. You can leave the pencils. Maybe if you bring the $3.
Bring the $3. Leave the pencils. Yeah. Then we can thruple. Yeah. I'm good with that. And Godwin, good to see you. Yeah. So $3, no pencils.
Zero pencils.
Zero pencils.
We taught my son how to like what the concept of zero is. So he'll be counting down as he's like eating raspberries or something, like, and 2 raspberries, and he'll get down to one, and then he'll eat the last one, and 0 raspberries, and he'll show us his empty hand. Look, Dad, 0 raspberries.
Nice. 0 raspberries. Oh, see, I'm getting flashbacks of the Count from Sesame Street. Except he's counting down backwards, so that's cool. It's like he's the backwards count. Oh, Sonny, just to catch up. Well, we're kind of debating whether or not it's a throuple, because Ember brought up a good point. It's not really a throuple, but we're choosing to call it that anyway. But it's me, Lobes, and $3 6 pencils. But $3 6 pencils has to leave the 6 pencils, only the dolls.
Well, those $3 wouldn't it be a sextuple if there's 3 dolls and then 3 of us on top of that?
3 dolls and 3 of us. Yeah, that's
a sextuple.
Yeah,
that's a convenient name.
Sextuple.
It's a supple sex. All right. Well, I gotta get back to work. Have fun with your supple sex. I'm gonna get out of here.
Well, now it's 5 because it's a quintuple because you're not there anymore. Well, we'll make do until you come back.
Sorry, save the doll for me.
We will save the doll. All right, that was Lobes, everybody. So, all right, I guess it's just me and 3 dolls and 3 dolls to make 5. Can we talk about believers and stuff now? Yes, we can talk about believers and stuff. Yes, we can. So, we want to talk about whether or not somebody can save my soul. I think a lot of people just want to argue, but I'm open. I'm here. So if you're in the hallway and you're just watching, you're lurking, you're in the hallway, I'm here, man. I'm here to be convinced. Can you convince me that your God is the one to be worshiped? I got a soul here just waiting. And it's not a trap. Well, I mean, I have traps, but have you ever had any encounters with Mormons? Mostly pleasant. Yes, I have. And and welcome in Reckless Religion. I have had some encounters with Mormons. The the whole racist parts of the Book of Mormon and the Pearls of Wisdom and the Doctrines and Covenants are a bit troubling for me. They are hard for me to get by. Yes, it is supposed to be moving by my head. I got to keep the window activated every so often, but I have so many freaking windows open. The Bolshevik Atheists. That sounds like a band name. I think that's going to be a band name for somebody. The Bolshevik Atheists. Or that could be another show that comes on. I think a group of folks are going to take that. He saved my soul. Yeah. So yeah, I'm here to be saved. That reminds me of that E40 song. I want to be saved. Wow, that shows you how old I am. I'm quoting E40. So, you know the Bolshevik atheists were and why they shouldn't be celebrated? I don't know who they are, and I'm not celebrating them. I have to save yourself. No. That's not what the Bible says. So we have a lot of people who haven't read the Bible. Let's see what it says. Matthew 28, verses 19 through 20. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations. You're E40 years old too, Ragizi? There you go. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey everything that I have commanded you. See, this is your job, SpongeBob. So are you saying you don't have to follow Jesus' command? This is from Jesus. Teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. And remember, I am with you always to the end of the age. So it's not me saving myself. It's you saving me. And 1 Peter 3, verse 15. Let's go to that. 1 Peter 3, verse 15. Always be ready to make your defense to anyone who demands from you an accounting for the hope that is in you. So, SpongeBob, I am making a demand from you for an accounting of the hope that is in you. So, what is the hope that is in you? So, this is your job. So, do you not read your Bible? You were supposed to minister to me. It says it right there. Go therefore and make me a disciple. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. So teach me. So come on up and teach me. Why isn't anybody coming up? I mean, Ariana is willing to do it, but TikTok terms of service is preventing her from doing so. So we have one person willing to do it, and they can't because of terms of service. We have nobody else. Here I am. I'm ready, Ember. What do I got to do? I'm like
Okay,
the mark.
wait. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior? Hold on one second. Doc.
Flip.
Doc the cat.
Doc the cat. Oh, Doc the cat.
Doc.
We got to put Doc the
Yeah.
cat on expand.
And
course.
his sidekick, Aegon Targaryen.
Aegon Targaryen is a healer. Does Aegon herd you? Does Aegon ever herd you? Oh, look at those
Yeah,
eyes.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Do they give? Does Aegon give you the creepy stare?
Oh my God, all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we call him Egg or Eggy
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, but I only call him Aegon Targaryen when I'm
Aegon
upset with
Targaryen.
him.
Yes, exactly. Get over here now,
But
Aegon Targaryen.
He will sit at my computer and he'll sit there and just stare at me for ages, and I'm just like, please leave me alone. Leave me alone.
It's creepy, isn't it?
And he loves to what's the word? Demand butt rubs.
Yeah.
But really, the only reason that I came up is just to say that the person in the comments that's super mad about me being a communist. I'm
Bolshevik
not a
atheist?
Yeah.
You
I'm not a
Bolshevik atheist?
Yeah. But he really hates that I'm a communist. And also talking about the Bolsheviks is a Yahtzee dog whistle. So that is important to note for everyone in the chat. Because the Bolsheviks were, they talk about them being Jewish. So, and then they talk about them being evil and all of that stuff. So it's definitely a Yahtzee dog whistle to research for everyone.
Good to know.
Yeah, in case you didn't know. But yeah, he's here on a backup so that he can comment and chat. And it's the same guy that was here earlier.
Stir up trouble.
So. Yep. Not our first time.
Yeah, won't be the last.
If you had done any of your research on history, then you'd know that. So if you're calling me a Bolshevik and you don't know what history is, because Jewish it's an ethno religion, and it's an ethno. What is it? Yeah. And so you can be ethnically Jewish and be an atheist.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
You know.
Yes,
so
you can.
we're not uneducated here. So it's important that you know that before you come in trying to troll and give misinformation.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But
So also,
you know,
while I'm
I just want to say one thing, and that, like, the first time I heard the word Bolshevik was studying, you know, about Lenin and the revolution in Russia, right? The communist revolution, which was what 1917, something like that. So that's
something
what,
like
like
that,
a
yeah.
106-year-old, 109-year-old word, and so I just am a little bit baffled and amazed that something that's 109 years old is trying to be used as an insult today. I'm just saying. It's just, wow. Like,
I know
I'm old,
that
but
I was just
bruh,
about
get
to
with the
say, I
times.
know that I'm starting to become like middle-aged, because let's be real, like, you know, 100 is not the age, like, you know, about 70 something, and I'm almost 37. So,
Okay.
you know, I'm getting to be middle-aged, and, you know, I'm not that old though.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, and then to be like Bolshevik, like, wow. I don't know. Like, what would be, I
I'm
can't even
not,
think of what the equivalent would that be. Like, just like an
yeah,
insult from the 1920s or something like that. You
yeah, like,
flapper, you. I don't know. I don't
I
even know
don't know.
what to
I
say,
don't
right?
even know. I'm trying to think. There are some good, like, funny insults from back then, but of course, you know, when you want to actually be giving those, your mind goes blank.
Yeah, right?
Like, dang
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. Like, I
Hey,
guess,
watch it,
watch it, kiddo. I guess maybe if we pull out like Weisenheimer or something like that, you know.
wise guy.
Yeah, a wise guy, huh?
Why
Okay.
I yada.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, wow, that's just so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, nincompoop is a good one.
Nincompoop, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if we're getting that far back, because that's like Three Stooges shit, right? So that's not even like far enough back. So
That's true, man.
yeah, smart Alec. Yeah.
It is funny. It is Z. We know that you're the previous guest that got dropped. So why would we let you up again?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Yahtzee talking point, the Bolshevik thing, and yeah, there's no way there's that many people, Z, that think I'm a Bolshevik.
Yeah.
And we had 2 in 10 minutes. No, it was you on both accounts.
Yeah, exactly. I like today. Yeah, like all the time I've known you, that word has never ever come up before, and then for it to come up twice in 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that dude, Derek Morgan, that I made videos about, he's the only other one, if they're not the same person. He's the only other one to ever call me that. And because I'm not. I am a communist, sure, but not the propaganda that he said.
All right. So the lesson of the day, communist does not equal Bolshevik.
Absolutely wild, I know.
Yeah, that's the lesson for today. So the more you know, right?
Do.
Rainbow, cue rainbow words, sweeping. XQYIA, the word is Bolshevik. We're doing a little bit of an education on that. First, that it's a very, very, very old insult, and it's not even accurate. So, and it's a Yahtzee dog whistle. So that's a problem too. And let's see. Oh, it's not up to us. It's God's grace. No. That's not what Matthew 28 verse 19 says. So you got to read your Bible. So here, let me remind you. Matthew 28:19. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. So come up and teach me everything that Jesus has commanded you. So that's what I'm asking. And
by the way, I can just sit on panel if you want for a while, just to help with engagement.
Absolutely.
And with any announcements that may need to happen.
Absolutely. I don't know why you haven't been doing that in the first place.
Honestly, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I might just sit here more often.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I forgot to, in all the hubbub. Is Livia here? Because Livia, you're more than welcome to request up. I forgot to, because Livia DM'd me and asked if she could co-host, and I was like, in my head, I was like, yeah, sure. So I responded mentally, but I didn't type it out and hit send. Never made it that way. So yeah, so if Livia, if you're here, yeah, absolutely request up. In fact, I might invite her. And yeah, both of y'all can hang out. It's fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in here yet. Yeah, because I can just act as mod on here and not really engage with the conversations.
And if you want to engage, that's fine too. Yeah.
Backup.
Yeah, that's fine too. If you want to engage or whatnot. But anyone that's friends with Livia, here, I'm gonna invite her in. See if she comes up on my. Yeah, there she is. Okay.
I just sent it to her and said, "Come co-host."
Come co-host. Yeah. So come co-host, Livia. All right. Well, while we're waiting for Livia, and encoding come up second. We're gonna have Michael come up, but yeah, it's gonna be believer centric. But there's not really anyone requesting, so come on into the queue, encoding, and we'll get you in next. We'll bring up Michael. See if Michael can convert. Co-host salmon is delicious. Co-host salmon. I think I might agree with that. How you doing, Michael?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Thanks for coming up. So, are you a Christian and are you over 18?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. All right. So, yeah, like the title says, I'm a non-resistant non-believer. Oh, and this is my friend Ember. I'm not sure how resistant or non-resistant they are, but they are a fellow non-believer. So
yeah,
you got potentially two souls here. Yeah.
Oh, well, so I would first like to question why, or what brings you to feel that, that you're a non-believer? What would constitute your basis on life?
I lack evidence that any gods exist. So not enough evidence. So yeah. So I believe in things with evidence. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So as a kid, when you were growing up, did you have any influences in your family at all, like mother, grandmother, or anybody that has some? Hold on 1 second. Going through the drive-through. Hold on 1 second. I'm the next one. Hold on.
Oh, that means he's driving.
Oh yeah, you're driving. So here, Michael, pull over, and then we can bring you back. All right. Oh, encoding. I was just about to click on you. So come on back, encoding. There we go. All right. And we'll bring up Michael as soon as Michael, just pull over and enjoy your lunch and then talk to us. How's it going, encoding?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
All right, so I'm not a believer, but I'm also a non-believer. I'm not like,
Are you
like in the middle of
a non-believer? Yeah.
I don't know. And my go-to is I don't know. I've talked to Christians. I believe, I guess the Bible could be immoral, but I do believe that there's a God, I guess.
Okay.
I grew up being like a Christian, believing in God and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And like one of the main questions I have is like, as a person, is like, I've asked the Christian the same question. They say their thoughts will never change and everything. It's like, if at the end of the day, the truth ended up showing, will your belief change?
Oh, of course, because then I would have evidence, right? So if it's true, there would be evidence that it's true, and that would definitely change my mind. I don't imagine that because I've never done this in my life. I've never gotten the truth of something and then denied it anyway. Never ever done that. So I can't imagine that I would do that with God.
Like, okay, so you know how depending on whatever God shows up or anything, it's like I like to believe that there's only one God.
Okay.
But as the question goes, it's like, would you start following everything that it says in the Bible?
Would I? If it was if the Bible was true too? If all of it was true?
Yes.
Probably not, because here's the problem. There's a lot in there that's problematic. It's hard. It will be hard for me to get on board with a God that makes it okay to grape innocent people, to genocide, you're going to have to see, that's the other piece to this. You're going to have to convince me that is all moral. And that God is moral. You see what I mean? That it's moral for God to allow it, to command it, to do it. And so there's actually two levels to this. First, you got to convince me that this God is real. And then you got to convince me that all these things that God commanded in the Bible and did and allowed is moral when God does it and commands it and allows it.
So you're leaning more on the part where if he is real, he's known as a cruel God.
From what we see, yeah. So you'd have to really, because here's the problem. Like a lot of these things we wouldn't ever allow, we wouldn't let a normal another person do this. Like if you heard of a dictator that was, that was enslaving people, right? Or allowing them to be enslaved, we wouldn't call that dictator a good ruler, right? And but all I've heard from Christians is, well, he's God. He can do anything he wants. Well, yeah, that may be true, but does that make it good?
I mean, in a Christian standpoint, it's like we can't understand what he's thinking. This is how I like to think of it. It's like he's, so when you play chess and you play chess on a very high level versus AI, the AI does this move where you won't even understand it till like at the end of the game. That's kind of how I like to think of it, that God is making did this without you knowing that at the end, like I guess heavily in the future, it'll come to understand.
And how do we know that for sure? Because like with like a chess game, right? You can kind of figure out that because you can kind of determine within the scope of the game why, like a high level AI would be making that, like, yeah, they're making that move. I don't understand why, but we know it's within the scope of the game, right? Now, if they did something like they moved a piece off the board and then one of your pieces just disappeared and the game said, yeah, AI took your piece by moving it off the board, wouldn't you think, isn't that weird? Like, that's not within the scope of the rules. And so why is this doing that? And then if the explanation is, well, you don't understand, you will after the game is over, like, would you accept that?
Well, no, not until the game is over. You'll start seeing like a pattern lead to it to the end where it's like, okay, he has me trapped, so I wouldn't be able to do anything. That's kind of similar, I guess. I guess if you could think about it like that, that in the future you start seeing the pattern. It's like, okay, God led me this way. That's kind of what I meant. And not at the end of the game, will you understand?
Yeah. Hold on a sec, Olivia. Weird. I can't. Okay, you were invited. Okay, so. Yeah,
I'm trying to get her up here. She doesn't have, that's so weird. Olivia, I don't know if you're restricted at all. If you want to check that. Otherwise all I can think is restart or update the app. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Just we're trying to figure this out. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about the barking.
That's okay. Because apologies, Olivia. I saw your message and in my brain I said, yes, absolutely. And I forgot to type in respond. So my bad, but absolutely come on up. Okay. Back to you, encoding. So yeah, I see what you're saying. I understand that part. But what I mean though, is that when it's something that kind of goes against a lot of people's sensibilities, it's very, very hard to reconcile. When it goes against things that are logical, that's very hard to reconcile. That's my point. So like I said, like if you're, going back to your analogy, if this AI opponent in chess is making these moves that are just not within the rules at all, and you're losing, I would begin to think, well, these aren't part of the rules. And so why am I losing here? Just seems like you're cheating, or seems like I don't know all the rules, and you try and go find out all the rules, right? But then if you can't find out all the rules and you're still losing, then, I wouldn't think that it's because I don't understand what's happening. You see what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like, it's not enough, I guess, evidence to make you change.
Yeah. Right? And so if I talk to somebody about the chess game, let's just say it's a video game, right? And I talk to the programmers of the video game, and they just tell me, well, you'll understand one day. That's not very satisfying, right? That's not a good answer.
I see it.
Yeah, it's not a good answer. So that's what I mean.
It's like, it goes on both ends regardless. It's like, not, I guess with science, the answer is we don't know yet. Okay. But with the belief is we won't understand till he shows himself, or he gives you an answer.
Right. Until he shows himself. Okay.
Yes. I would understand your reasoning on it. But yeah, that was the main question. It was like, if he were to ever prove himself or show himself before you or anything, would you change the way you view everything?
Well, I would change the way I view everything. Like, my belief in God would change. Like, I would go from not believing in this God to believing in this God, because there would be evidence that this God exists. Now, worshiping, that's another barrier, and we have more talking to do. There's more to it. So
I speak to both sides
to start.
I'm a person that's like, I don't know. I want to believe there's a God. I don't really know, but I asked both sides the question. The only one that was kind of iffy was when I asked a Christian, which was a fellow Christian, like a friend. I asked them, and they were like that they won't change their view even if their God was proven to be false. I was like, okay. So now you're going based on
like vibes or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, then now I don't know. I can't halt myself into focusing on just the Bible and then putting that into my life, where I'm just like, I can just keep going in life.
Yeah.
And if it shows itself, it shows itself. It doesn't. I don't know. But I just wanted to know both sides, both views. All right. I kind of enjoy this conversation.
Yeah, it was a good conversation.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And Cody. All right. Well, thanks for coming up. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Take care. All right. So, hey, do you want to do an announcement?
Sure. Hi, everyone. While we get this set up for the next guest to come on, just keep tapping the live. It's so good to see 96 of you in here. It's a smaller day today, but you know what? That's okay. It's rainy here in the Chicago area, and so it kind of feels like a kind of chill day today.
Yeah.
So keep tapping the screen. We're at 20.2 likes. Let's get to 25 really quickly, and then we'll just keep doing our milestones for like the 50, 75, 100, stuff like that. Make sure that you are following Trust on all of his platforms. It is Trust But Verify 2024. Make sure it's the 2024 on there, and you'll see that it is all of his platforms. He is on YTube and the Purple app as well. We also have a Discord where we enjoy good, genuine conversations, discussions about different topics. We have some educational spaces where we share important articles, things like that. I think I want to put a news section.
A news one? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like
we'll do a news
US
one. That sounds
news,
good.
world news, things like that, because
Okay.
I think that's going to be really important, especially right now, just for everybody who wants to be kept in the loop and who may not technically, who may not know, good news sources to go to.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that after
I think
the
that
show today. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that would be nice. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So, but the Discord is open for anyone, whether you are an atheist, not an atheist, anywhere in between, whatever. You are welcome in the Discord. The link is in Trust's bio, the link tree in there. Just copy the link and paste it into your web browser, and that way the invite should work. If you have any trouble, just let one of us mods know, and we'll be happy to help. But I haven't really heard from anybody that there's been issues. But sometimes the link can expire. So
yeah, I think people are figuring out you just got to copy and paste a different thing. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Understanding
so
that. Okay.
Yeah, and no spamming in chat. If you do request up, please do not spam to be let up. Just request, and please be patient. There are 30 minutes per guest. If you do want to do an early kick poll to have everyone vote, you can contribute or fill up the live goal, which is 25 lemon cooks. And then we also have the jellyfish, which can get rid of the guest. So just so you know what your options are there too, you can do that on YTube as well. And I'm guessing the mods in there talk about how you can do that too, because we've had that happen. Just a side note, Trust, Ace, they said that they want if there are any grape apologists who come up, you have free, like it's a free coupon to just do the kick poll.
Early kick poll. All right.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
Okay. So as soon as I hear the apologies,
they were like,
then
I don't
we'll
know
just
if I
start
can
the
be in
kick poll.
chat today, so just free early kick poll.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, just no spamming, no caps lock in chat. Mods use it to communicate with Trust and the rest of chat, so it just helps not clog things up for everyone. And we appreciate you being here. Thanks again so much. And yeah, I'm always awkward when I end it. I need to figure out like a smoother way to end it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that video that I'm thinking about doing, my awkwardness is going to be so good there. I'm going to get like 90s clothes and just kind of like stand there and just be an awkward,
those
like,
awkward
have
moments.
you
Yeah.
You deserve to be compensated. And then just do weird, awkward poses.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
I can't wait to see it.
I can pull off awkward really well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I totally can't wait to see it. It's gonna be fun to watch that video.
It's gonna be a minute, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
All
I'm
good,
gonna
man.
have Bri help me.
Cool. All right, everybody, thank Ember, but Ember's not going anywhere this time. Ember's staying right up here. And then Livia, I see that you're back. And
yes, she is not able to come up. She said that
bummer.
she'll just stay in chat today, so hopefully we can have her another day.
Okay, another day. All right. With that, let's bring up another guest. Let's go. All right. So if you're in the guest panel or a guest queue, just please be at least 18, believer in the God of the Bible, Torah, or the Quran, and also, we're gonna see if we can save my soul today. How's it going, Mitch?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. You're a bit faint, so if you can maybe move closer to the mic or increase your volume somehow, that would be great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Try and say something else.
Yo. Can you hear me now?
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Okay, and just want to verify you're at least 18, and then which God do you believe in?
I'm 39, and the Christian God.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, yeah, here I'm at. I'm a non-resistant non-believer. So what's the hope in your heart? What is that about?
So now I'm just curious because I was listening to some of your last conversation, and it looks like you referred to the Bible almost kind of in reverse the way like Protestants do. Do you think that? Well, let me ask you. Do you think that Christianity comes from the Bible?
I would say yes, it does.
So you hold that Christians believe like the Bible is kind of like their go-to for their doctrine and theology, stuff like that?
I would say they have to, because how else would they know?
Well, that's a misconception. So
Okay.
the Bible is actually a product of Christianity. there were hundreds of years that Christians existed,
Mm-hmm.
were martyred, were spreading the gospel without any Bible, without any canonized full Bible.
Okay.
All so I think a lot of atheists argue from that point of view. They look to the Bible and then they kind of combat what Christians believe in based on that argument.
Okay. So are you saying the Bible isn't true or is true or what? You know,
no,
what's
the Bible
your position
is
on
true.
the Bible? Okay.
The Bible is 100% true.
It's 100% true.
I would hold that there's no errors as far as theological contradictions. There are scribal errors.
Okay.
There's no theological contradiction. So the Bible is actually a divine revelation. It's a liturgical book meant to be read liturgically through church service. It isn't a private devotion. Yeah, it isn't a private devotional where someone just picks up a Bible and kind of just picks it up, reads it, and then interprets it for themselves and starts believing in God that way. That's a Protestant belief.
Okay, I got you. So when it says in Matthew 28, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, and then in verse 20 it says, teaching them to obey everything that I've commanded you. So how would you make me a disciple?
How would I make you a disciple?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know. I would maybe try to argue how and why to believe in God, and then if you were convinced of that, then I would bring you to liturgy, and if you were inquiring, then you would have to start a catechumen class.
How do we know that any of that liturgy is true?
Well, the liturgy is what we believe theologically. So
okay, so
it isn't. Yeah, it's what we hold as our belief. So the liturgy is basically the same thing every week, unless there's a different holiday or something like that.
Is it true?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, how do we know that?
Well, how do I know what my belief system is true?
The liturgy and all that stuff. How do we? Because a Hindu would tell me the same thing. Come to our temple, right? But that doesn't mean it's true.
Well, Hindu, from what I understand, isn't just a religion. It's a culture, and there's different religions within Hinduism. I don't know if it's a worldview. I don't know if it's a worldview the way that Orthodox Christianity is.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm not sure why that would discount it though. Because I mean, because
I don't know if they're making truth claims. I don't know if Hinduism or Buddhism makes truth claims as far as like divine revelation or anything like worldviews as far as like what you should do, how to live, and
they have
what
that.
you should believe in.
Yeah, they have all that. So
then I mean, you would have to be convinced by their worldview for you to inquire in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how would you convince me of your worldview?
I think tag is probably a good argument.
Tag?
Are you familiar with tag?
Yeah. So that I can't ground
that
I can't ground anything. That God is the grounding of all logic and morality.
And truth, yes.
Okay. And then how do we demonstrate that?
Well, you would have to. It's a two-part argument. So the first would be convincing you that things like truth and morality are objective, they exist and they're real, and they do exist. And then the second part would be the worldview of orthodoxy.
Well, I believe truth and morality exist. I'm not sure if morality is objective, but I would say truth exists, yeah, and it is objective. But I'm not sure how that points to a God, though. How do you? And then on top of that, how does it point to your God? Because you might convince me it points to a God, but then how does it point to your God?
Yeah, that's a little more difficult, I would say.
Okay.
That part I haven't really practiced, but the tag argument I'm just kind of like getting. But the pointing it to my God is a little more difficult. The triune aspect is one way. Love is relational. So if love is objective and it's real, it is relational, making God triune. So
yeah,
I mean that's one aspect of the orthodox argument for it.
These all seem like claims, though. They don't really seem like they're just statements. So,
Okay,
I
but
guess I would need
do you
like
believe that?
evidence to back that up.
Do you believe that truth? Like, what do you mean, like empirical evidence, or what kind of evidence do you need to back what up?
Anything, yeah, any kind of evidence. So it could be empirical, it could be forensic, it could be scientific, it could be all kinds, any kind.
I mean, those are all empirical. None of them are like philosophical claims. Do you believe that
Right.
morality is objective?
I believe somebody can have objective morality, but like I have objective morality, but I don't think that morality itself is objective because
But
it's
that's
it's
you
it's
don't
not
think
mine.
that's a contradiction?
No,
Well, morality is it something? Does it exist? Is it real?
yeah,
So how would it be subjective if it exists?
because it's not mind independent. So now you can have objective morals like objective ethics. So I have objective ethics. So I have a set of morals that I evaluate objectively. However, I don't think morality itself is objective because it comes from a mind. And I don't think
Right.
you believe that either, right? Because where do
That's
your
what-
where do your morals
But
come
that's
from?
what tag is. It comes from a mind, just
Okay.
like truth. Just
So
like,
if it comes
just
from a
like
mind, it
comes
can't
from-
be. Yeah, but if it comes from a mind, it can't be objective because objective means mind independent.
Yeah, but objective using the word objective is tricky in this argument because objective we're referring to us, right? We're referring to minds inside the material. We're referring to us inside the material world, outside of this universe, outside of the material world. That's the transcendental, and that's what brings in the greater mind is what brings in
Well,
these
yeah,
these things to exist.
Yeah, but that's only if you redefine what objective means. But the definition of objective is
Well,
mind
it's not really
independent.
redefining. It's not really it's not redefining it because we live within this universe.
Well, how do you
And God
define
is-
objective then?
Well, just like you said, mind dependent
Mind
or
independent.
mind independent. I'm sorry,
Right.
yeah, mind independent. Right.
And God has a mind, right?
Yes, outside. Of,
So it would be
outside of us.
independent even of God's mind. Yeah. So mind independent means all minds, not a mind except one. It would be all minds. So it's just mind independent. That's
Well, do
what
you
it
think- let me
specifically
ask you,
means.
Do you? All right. Well, let's not use objective. Do you think that it exists? Do you think truth exists?
Truth
Okay,
does
so
exist
is
and it's
truth-
objective. And we derive it from the
Okay,
laws
so-
of logic.
That's a contradiction.
How
That's
so?
a contradiction.
How so?
Because truth would have to be universal because you're making a truth claim. So, for example, you're saying truth is subjective. Is it true that
I
truth
didn't
is
say that.
subjective?
I didn't say that. I said truth is objective.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're saying truth is objective.
Yeah, I said objective.
Okay, so if truth exists, then it's universal and it's objective. How did it
It's
come
mind
into
independent.
existence?
Through the laws of
But-
logic.
Okay. Yeah, the laws of logic as
Yeah.
well. How do they exist?
Well, like the law of identity,
they
for
do-
example, right? A equals A, right? And A equals A.
Yeah, I'm
Does-
familiar.
Will A cease being equal to A if no minds are there to know?
I'm saying that's the argument I'm making.
Yeah.
If no mind was around to witness this truth, it still would be true, right?
It still would be true, which means it's mind independent. Yeah.
Okay, so but then would you admit that truth exists and it's universal?
Mhm.
How did truth enter into existence?
It's part of reality.
Yeah, but that's not answering my question. How did truth enter into existence?
It didn't enter existence. It's part of reality. Reality's always existed. Reality's eternal.
But aren't you making a claim? You're making the same claim I'm making. You're just saying it always existed, and I'm saying God brought
Yeah.
it into existence.
So when I say truth is transcendent and things of that sort, like I believe the universe is eternal because that's what we have evidence of, right? And if the universe is eternal, that means reality is eternal because that is our
We have-
reality, right?
we have evidence that the universe is eternal.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
So there was no big. So you're not a materialist then? You're not a physicalist.
Not a physicalist, no.
Okay.
I'm a
So then,
naturalist.
what evidence would you say that the truth is? That the universe is eternal.
The evidence that we
evidence do you have
have
of that?
is the Schrodinger equation from quantum mechanics because you can calculate the probability of the superposition of a particle at any point in time and space, past, present, or future. So if you can do that, that means that time and space had to have existed eternally. So if you can do it at any point, and then if you bring in energy, that also implies that energy has always existed, and the quantum eternity theorem has demonstrated that as well. That there always was a non-zero amount of energy in the universe, and then if we bring in gravity, general relativity holds that gravity has always existed. So we've got time, space, energy, and gravity. You would agree those are the four like basic parts of the universe, right?
Space, energy, and gravity.
Time, space, energy, and gravity. Yeah.
Sure, I could agree to that.
Yeah. Those are the basic like four things of the universe, right? And so if the universe is the wave function that is part of quantum mechanics, and the wave function has always existed, then the universe has always existed.
What is the weight function?
It's the manifold that contains everything, like particles and all that stuff. So
like the universe?
It's like the space-time manifold. Yeah, universe is the manifold that contains everything. So that is part of that is our reality. So if the universe has always existed, that means reality has always existed. And the laws of logic are a fabric of reality. They're foundational.
Right, but you're just naming things that exist. I don't see how you're pointing to
we name things that exist because we have evidence for it. So
right. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
so
that
then
you're
what
naming
was
things that
so what is the evidence that your God has always existed?
Well, no, you're making a claim that the God has not always existed. You're making the claim that the universe has always existed.
I'm merely saying I don't believe the God has ever existed because we don't have any evidence of that. So I don't believe it. I didn't say the God has never always existed. I said I just don't believe it. But see, that's up to you to convince me that the God's always existed. Remember, I'm the non-resistant non-believer, right? So it's
I understand, but you do believe that the universe has always existed.
Yeah, because we have evidence of that. So that's why I'm asking you.
You didn't provide it.
I just told you.
You didn't provide it.
I just told you.
Well, you just named a bunch of things that exist in reality.
Name a thing bunch of. So are you saying that the Schrodinger equation is not true?
Well, is the Schrodinger equation just saying that things exist?
No.
But that's what you said, though. You just named a bunch of things that exist.
Yeah.
You didn't say how they've always existed. I don't even know how you would even.
I just told you.
I don't even know how you would.
Okay. Well, which part of the explanation did I lose you on? What did I say about like time, space, energy, and gravity?
Okay, so time, space, energy, and gravity exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that there's a weight. Was it a weight manifold?
No. Well, there's a wave function that's the manifold that contains everything. So the universe is the wave function. The wave function.
Oh,
and it's a manifold that contains everything. Yeah. And so if the universe is the wave function. And so, like I said, in that wave function, you can calculate the probability and what that means in the superposition of a particle. And what that means is that this particle could be anywhere. That's its superposition. So think of it like this. Think of kids on a playground, right? And let's just say one kid, Johnny, is on the playground somewhere, right? So the playground is the wave function. Johnny is an object in the wave function. Well, not a person in the wave function. And what you want to do is you want to calculate the probability of where Johnny will be at a specific point in time. Let's say at 3:00. You want to calculate where Johnny. See, now Johnny could be anywhere on the playground, right? That's his superposition. So you want to calculate the probability of where he'll be at 3:00. And that's what you can do with the Schrodinger equation. So there's no limit to where he could be. Anywhere on the playground. So think of that as the universe, and then think of that. And so anywhere on the playground, anywhere in the universe, that's anywhere in space and time. So you want to calculate the probability of where Johnny will be at 3:00, and then you use the Schrodinger equation to determine that. And then once you determine that, the wave function collapses into the exact position of where Johnny will be at 3:00.
But wouldn't that only work going towards the future? I don't understand how you would
at any point in the past, present, or future. So you could do it. So if Johnny has been on that playground, then the only limitation is the existence of the particle. The particle hasn't existed forever, then yeah. But if it has, then you can say yeah. So if we just say that Johnny has existed forever and he's been on this playground forever, you can calculate Johnny's position at any point in the past, present, or future.
But how do you calculate it? You don't have access
using the
to
Schrodinger equation. Using the Schrodinger equation. Yes, you can. You can calculate it to 7 billion years in the past if you want to. The only limitation is that the particle has to have existed. So if you establish that the particle has existed, you can calculate it at any point in the past, present, or future.
Do we have access to the past?
We do. Mathematically.
Do we physically have access to the past?
No. But what did 1 second ago happen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Did 2 seconds ago happen?
Yes.
And 4 and 8 and on and on and on, right? So
right.
we
do we have access to it?
No. Why would we need access to it? Why would we need access to know that 4 seconds ago existed?
Because you're making a claim that we can calculate things that already happened.
I'm not making the claim. It's established.
I don't know.
Scientists,
if it's established.
You don't know it's established? Well, so then you're denying that the Schrodinger equation is not true. So what scientific evidence do you have that the Schrodinger equation is not true?
Just logic.
Just logic? So then why do physicists all believe this then? What are they missing? What logic is escaping physicists that you have that they don't?
What name one physicist that believes this?
Name one? Sean Carroll.
No one. Sean Carroll,
Sean Carroll. He's a theoretical physicist.
Atheist,
he's a theoretical physicist. He's a famous atheist.
Isn't he a famous atheist that used to be a Baptist?
No,
evangelical.
I don't know who you're talking about. That's not who it is. Einstein. Who else? I mean, I can name a bunch of physicists. Now, how do you think you and I are talking right now?
Through communication, language.
Yeah, language.
Sound waves.
And then how did all this technology that you and I are using to communicate, how do you think that was all derived?
Yeah, people have made it. I don't understand how that's relevant.
Using what math?
What do you mean using what math?
Using what equation? There's a specific equation, one of many, but there's one specific equation that people have used to make all this technology possible for you and I to communicate like this. Which one do you suppose that is?
What equation is that?
It's the Schrodinger equation. It's quantum mechanics. That's how you and I are communicating right now. So for you to sit there and say it's I don't believe it. It's not logical. That's just it's kind of insane.
So wait, you're saying that all these empires, cities, buildings, cars were made by the Schrodinger equation?
In part, yeah. So like take your phone. You have your phone? True. How do you think the components in this phone how do you think the components yeah, okay, well how do you think the components in the phone got to the way they are? How do you think that happened?
By using the Schrodinger equation?
That's part of it is the bedrock of quantum mechanics. So how do you think the components in this phone are the size that they are?
So did the empires in Egypt, Greece, and Rome use the Schrodinger equation?
No, because it was discovered in 1927. So my question to you is, how do you think hold on, I have a question. Dude. No, I didn't. I didn't say all the empires in history. I said
you just said how did we come up with everything that's all around us? Did you not say that everything?
No, I didn't say that.
All the mechanics, technology.
You can go back on the YouTube video and you can watch it because it's being recorded right now. That's not what I said. I asked you specifically, and you're dodging my question. So, my question to you is, how do you think the things in this phone got to this size?
By little African children mining for the material.
Okay. All right. Little African children mining for the material. Well, that's a start. How do you think they designed this thing? What math did they use to design this thing?
I really don't know, and I don't know how that's relative to anything. They didn't use a
because you
shortener
said
thing, though.
because they didn't. Okay, how do you know that?
Because I've never even heard of the short. I don't know how you have access to the past. I don't even know how you need the shortener equation
Okay,
to build a phone.
Wait,
you're
if
pivoting. You're pivoting.
I'm sorry. This is, if you have never heard of this, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like
I didn't say that.
your lack of knowing that this exists does not therefore mean that it does not exist.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
You literally just said you had never heard of it.
I've never heard of it,
And
so I don't believe
it
this is
can't
what
exist
yeah.
because you've never heard of it.
No, that's not what I said. What I'm
Or
saying
that's
is
not
I'm
what they did because you've never heard of it.
No, what
That
he's
was
making-
literally one of your reasons, Mitch. And like at the end of the
It
day,
wasn't my
like
reason.
this
First of all,
argument at the hold
wasn't
on,
my
Mitch. I
reason.
love that he was not interrupting you nearly as much as he's trying to talk constantly over me.
But you're unbearable when you were doing your like 10-minute
Yeah.
rant.
Okay,
so
hold on, Mitch.
Mitch, you're
All
going
right.
personal.
Hey, Mitch.
And
Yeah, he left. Wow.
that was ridiculous.
That was
The only
ridiculous.
thing that I wanted
That
to
just-
ask
Wow.
was, at the end of the day, how is any of that supposed to save our souls?
That was fucking misogyny
if
right
we-
there.
Oh, 100%.
And it was
100%.
misplaced.
Yeah, 100%.
Totally misplaced. Right.
100%. Yeah. And like none of it, that was completely unwarranted.
Yeah. And see, I don't, and so people who are watching this, if you're trying to convince us, because now it's an us, right? Now it's an us. If you're trying to convince us, that's not the way to go about it, right? Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish what you were gonna ask.
No,
Yeah,
you're totally
please
good.
finish your point.
That was just very fascinating to watch because he was very respectful to you and you guys had a whole conversation. I jump in once and he crashes out.
Mm-hmm.
And all I wanted to do was to just bring it back to the prompt that's on the screen.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
even if we grant all of that, even if we grant that this, necessary being exists, what is the evidence that this being it is the Abrahamic one?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that like any of the things that happened in the Bible
Yeah, exactly.
actually happened.
Exactly.
Like that the idea, like the very, very base argument is saying that a God exists. That's not going to quote unquote save our souls.
Right.
For it being a Christian. So I'm sure you are, I am interested in how they want to save our souls, not does a God exist.
Right. Right. Because he said it was tag, and I was like, okay, well, even that's the case, how's that going to save my soul? Okay.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And he even conceded, well, yeah, it gets you to a God maybe, but not my God. Well, what we're here to do, you know?
Right. Like you're not even following the background.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're non-resistant non-believers. You just got to make it make sense. You know, we're
non-resistant, non-believing. Like
Yeah.
we're non-resistant. I mean, no. Well, I will say, if the Abrahamic God did exist, I would not worship it. That is one thing that I will say.
I think I said, yeah. I think I said it like to the other believer or the agnostic guy who came on first. Because I think I like this position that I'm on, is that if you would have to convince me next that genocide, slavery, rape, and all that is morally good for God to do, you would have to convince me of that. And that's even higher bar. That's a way higher bar.
It's not just that like the God exists, or even that a God exists, because I am non-resistant to a God existing.
Yeah, same
to
here.
multiple gods existing. I'm non-resistant to that. I have even called myself mystic, kind of a mystic at some points, because I think that there could be potentially more, but I'm an agnostic atheist because I don't currently believe that God or gods exist, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
yeah, I'm open I'm definitely open.
Yeah, but don't you think it would just be silly to get evidence that some God or gods exist and then just say, well, I don't believe in it anyway? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me either.
Oh yeah, no. If I had enough evidence, I've never been a person that's like, once I see evidence of something, I'm like, I still won't believe it.
I just deny it, right?
Yeah, like that's
Right.
never, I mean, that's why I deconstructed. Like I got new
Yeah.
information and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And had to do the work. If I were to, because this is how it works, like we don't choose our beliefs or our lack of beliefs. If I were to encounter a believer or an idea or whatever, an argument that personally like convinced me, then yeah, if it was convincing to me, then yes, logically I would then believe in a god or gods.
Yeah, exactly.
But that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. So so that's why I'm confused. Like when people ask what would it take or what kind of evidence you're looking for, it's like anything, just anything that makes sense. And that's the thing is that it just ultimately, like so far, it just doesn't make sense. So here we are. I mean, yeah. So I think, so chat, if you're wanting to convert us, like it's all it takes. So Ali Rafiq, it looks like you're having trouble connecting. So leave and come back. And, wait, there you go. You finally connected. All right. Hey, Ali, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. All right. You're at least 18 and it looks like you're a Muslim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, according to the Quran, it says, invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and good instruction. So what's the wisdom and good instruction that you have for us?
Yeah. Hopefully I can do that verse justice, but I'm sure you guys are all familiar with just the rational argumentations, and I'm sure you guys are unconvinced from that. So I would like to take a different approach if that's okay.
Okay.
From my perspective, I think that the belief in God is intuitive.
It's intuitive?
Yeah. So from my perspective, I don't think there's any evidence to reject that intuition. Likewise, like for example, I think human beings have a natural inclination to know what's right or wrong, right? For example, not hurting anyone, things like that nature. So I view God in that same regard and same respect.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Yeah. So therefore, I mean, I would view God in that same regard, in the sense that, hey, pragmatically speaking, this is how humans just normally function, and there's no hard evidence or convincing evidence for me to reject that intuition.
Okay. So why do we, like Ember and I, how come we don't have that intuition?
Hey, just a heads up, Ems is here.
Okay. Excellent. You know who Ems is, Ali?
I'm not sure what that is. Sorry.
Oh, okay. He's an ex-Muslim. He's a friend of mine. So,
okay.
As soon as he requests up, we'll bring him up here. Okay. So I guess so I think that's the thing is, the question, we interrupted you. So the question is, how come there's a lot of us that don't intuitively know this? Like, because like Christianity is the most practiced religion in the world ahead of Islam, although Islam is quickly catching up, right? May even surpass it at some point. But what I'm trying to understand is how come this isn't, if it's intuitive for you, it should be intuitive for everybody.
Yeah, I think I guess the best answer that I can give is that I guess a lot of civilizations have this idea of the transcendent, whether or not we label it God, right? We have this idea or these ideas that kind of transcend the physical or the naturalistic world. And from my perspective, there's no reference in the natural world that would give me any inclination to point at, to say that's the source, right? I apologize for using vague terminology, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that these ideas like God or morals there doesn't seem to be a reference point in terms of what we see in the natural world. And therefore, I think the leap that I make is that these things are essentially a priori knowledge. And as a result, like I said before, I just think it is as intuitive, and for me to reject that, I just don't see any reasons for me to reject that altogether.
Okay. Well, you don't see a reason. I guess I'm trying to understand that, because you're saying that, like, what our knowledge and our morality, you don't see like a starting point for it. So you're saying, but so then you're saying, therefore, it has to come from a God.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily like a logical argument. I would say it's the default position, right? In terms of this belief of God, right?
Thank you.
So that's all I'm kind of asserting at this point. So, not to say that I am convinced of rational argumentation, but at the bare minimum, even if I weren't, I just don't see any evidence that would convince me otherwise not to believe in a God.
Okay. So now that's for you, though. Yeah, that's for you. And so then, so then if we just grant that, you're still at a God, because this is the discussion I had with the previous guest. Now that puts you at a God, but how about your God? You see the difference?
Yeah. Sure. And I think that takes a little bit more effort. I would concede to that. But in terms of kind of,
I mean, because we're here, like, your opportunities to convert us to Islam. I mean, I'm here. I'm non-resistant. I'm a non-resistant non-believer. So, I mean, you could potentially convert me to Islam today.
Mm-hmm.
Go
ahead. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
If I could just also bring up another point, that talking about these other cultures that have these spiritual beliefs, a lot of them, I mean, we see these spiritual beliefs happening when people didn't have knowledge of science. They didn't have knowledge of the natural world. So seeing things like a hurricane, a tornado, even thunder and lightning would be more seen to be from a divine source, right? Because they didn't understand how the world, the universe works. They don't understand how weather works. They don't understand how these things happen. They didn't have, the weather system, right? All of that memorized from being educated from it in school. So they had a lot of these beliefs because of lack of knowledge, but we have more information that we can say that these things are not divine, that they are not supernatural. And so it's kind of, does that make sense? It kind of puts away that kind of point of, well, all these beliefs started out, way long ago. It's more lack of information.
Yeah. I mean, I think you make a fair point. I think my response to that would be, because essentially what you're stating is the kind of the God of the gaps, right? We didn't have enough scientific information, and therefore we leap to the conclusion that therefore God exists, or therefore there must be a God that explains these phenomena. Yeah. I think my response would be that, I think that wouldn't necessarily suffice, because even at this given point, there are believers in God, even though we have these scientific evidences or discoveries, right? So even though that we've came to the conclusion that, hey, this is the reason why tornadoes happen, or, things of that nature, there's still people out there, and there's still, I guess, argumentations for why people believe in a higher being, right?
Okay.
But the reason why I pointed that out was just to give reasons to why I believe that the belief in God is intuitive, because we have seen in the history that previous tribes having this conception of God. And from my perspective, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, were you going to say something?
Go ahead and finish what you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So from my perspective, this concept, this idea, right, of God being not, well, let me say this, because in Islamic theology, we have this certain conception of God, right? We don't think he's material or he's anything like creation. So from that perspective, right, this idea of a God being immaterial, there's nothing in the physical world that would lead me to that conclusion, right? So that's why I say, hey, this is intuitive, and I hope I'm making sense. I don't mean to kind of blabber on. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the problem here is that, like, because it says in the Quran, you know, in 5 verse 67, it says, "Convey what has been revealed to you from your Lord," and it also says in 24:54, "The duty of the messenger is to only to convey clearly." So, I think what it sounds like from your book, your duty is to convey to us what has been revealed to you. So, what has been revealed to you from Allah?
Yeah, so in terms of the actual revelation, is that what you're referring to? Yeah,
because see, intuition isn't a revelation. Intuition is a feeling that you have inside, right? It's like a gut feeling. So that's not a revelation. So what has Allah revealed to you?
To me specifically, I wouldn't say he revealed to me anything specifically, but for mankind itself, I would say that the Quran and the Sunnah would be kind of our guidelines in terms of revelation.
Okay, so you'd say the Quran is what he's revealed to you, right? All right, Ems is here, so hopefully he can pop in. Because I think that's the, I think that, oh, he's on Video Ninja, excuse me. Okay, sorry, Ems, hang on one second. Let me pull you in from Video Ninja. Yeah, there you are. Okay. Boop and boop. Okay, Ems, you there? We should be able to hear you. I think we might have to reconnect your mic. Let's check your audio settings real quick. Yeah, it says your iPhone microphone is there, and now you're muted. So let's try and I saw you went unmute to mute. And let's reconnect your mic again. Let's try that. Okay, you there, Ems? Okay, we can't hear you, sir. Let me try this. Sorry, guest, 1 second. Oh, what? Oh, there you are. We hear you. There you are. All right. Okay. So yeah. So what? I don't know how much you heard, but just to catch you up, I'm talking with the guest about like 567. You know, conveying what's been revealed to you from your Lord. 24:54, the duty of the messenger is only to convey clearly. And so that's why, and so I was in the middle asking him, like, what exactly has been conveyed? And he said, well, nothing really, but you would say in general, the Quran. Have I kind of summed that up, Ali, correctly?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that I'm receiving revelation directly from God, right? I'm not a messenger, but in terms of just revelation in and of itself for mankind, I would assert that the Quran and the Sunnah would be the revelation. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, that's fine. It's just, okay, so then from, because I think you alluded to, like, earlier when you first popped in, you alluded to there being like a moral and logical foundation for Allah, right? So then that would mean that the Quran has a moral and logical foundation to it.
Well, yeah.
Is that accurate or? Yeah.
Yeah, let me just restate it. Maybe I was not clear enough.
Okay.
So my position is that the reason I came on live was just to kind of give my explanation to see if that makes sense. And then second, I'm sure you and the other guest host are familiar with the rational argumentation. So I just felt that would be a waste of time for me to regurgitate philosophical argumentation. From my perspective, I find this more powerful in the sense that, hey, I truly believe that this concept of God is intuitive, and there seems not to be there doesn't seem to be a reference in terms of nature to point me towards a God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of that, I would ask myself, where is this idea coming from, right? And I know that I'm not sure the other host mentioned the God of the gaps as a plausible explanation for this. But yeah, I just don't find that as convincing due to what I've said earlier. But yeah, that would be kind of my position.
That would be your position. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. So, I mean, if we're talking about like where we can go as far as this. Well, actually, I think a way I want to approach this is that we can test the Quran for its, for its logic and its morality, right? We should be
Sure. Hopefully I can do my best, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, the guest is on TikTok. Can you hear the guest?
I can't hear Ems.
You can't hear Ems. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, Ems is there. Okay. Guest, can you hear?
Hi, Ems.
Guest, can you hear Ems?
I don't think so. Is he currently talking
shit.
right now?
Yeah, he was talking, but nobody.
Okay.
Say something else, Ems, real quick. Okay.
This audio.
Yeah, there's like some problems with TikTok today, Ems. Let me see if we can get you. Yeah, I had this damn thing working and it's not working right. I'm so sorry, Ems. I gotta get with Godless Engineer again because it looks like the YouTube side is broken again. This really fucking sucks.
Stand by, chat.
Okay.
We're trying.
Okay. Thanks, Ems. And it's funny because I think the chat can hear Ems, just the guests can't. That's the problem. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, can TikTok chat? Can you guys hear Ems?
Okay, they're saying no. Yeah, they're saying no audio. So I don't know what happened there because it was working fine. Yeah, they can't hear you. So, all right. Well, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you'll just have to watch him. Maybe, yeah.
Oh, they can't hear him on YouTube either.
Okay, they can't hear him on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. So sorry, Ems. I apologize for that, but appreciate you popping in. All right, bye. Okay, so that's okay.
Well,
We
WMs anyway.
Yeah, WMs anyway. So sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that, guest. So Ali, so as I was saying, we could look at this. We could look at from the moral standpoint, from the logical standpoint. To see if the Quran is like a revelatory thing from Allah, right?
Sure.
Okay. So, yeah, and the kind of the reason why I have I bring Ems up because he is a native Arabic speaker, so he kind of helps out with that part of it. But like because see, the thing is, I've read the Quran a couple of times, like fully, and like one of the problems I have with it is, for example, like its depiction of how Allah created everything. Like in there it has Allah creating the earth before the sun, for example. So, what are we to make of that?
Yeah, I would have to look at the specific verse.
Yeah, I can try to find the verses for you. Yeah.
Sure.
Because I think that's the that's kind of the that is a like it's kind of an issue, right? I mean, you agree with mainstream science that the Earth is younger than the sun, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would hold to that. Yeah.
Okay.
But in terms of the particular verse, I would have to take a look at it. Yeah.
Okay. Here, let me see if let me search through my spreadsheet real quick. And it has some other problems in there. So, okay. And have you read through the Quran and?
Yeah, I've read through it once before. Yeah, I've read through once before, but I'm not. I'm no scholar. I'm not. I would say I'm a lay person, right? So.
Yeah. I am too. Okay, I found it. So let me bring it up on screen here. Okay. Surah Fussilat. Yeah. And so and usually where Ems helps is the parts where they talk about like like the conjugation and things like that. So, okay, you should be able to see it above my head. You see it? Well, it's like covering part of my head.
Yeah,
okay.
I can see part. Yeah, I can see part of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll scroll down. So it starts here. It says here, ask them, O prophet, how can you disbelieve the one who created the earth in 2 days? And how can you set up equals with him? That is the Lord of all worlds. But then if we keep going, it says he placed on the earth firm mountains, standing high, showered his blessings upon it, and ordained all its means of sustenance, totaling 4 days exactly for all who ask. So that's placed on the earth firm mountains. So that implies that the earth was already made, right? And then it says, then he turned towards the heaven when it was still like smoke, saying to it and to the earth, submit willingly or unwillingly. They both responded, we submit willingly. So he formed the heaven into 7 heavens in 2 days, assigning to each its mandate, and we adorn the lowest heaven with stars like lamps for beauty and for protection. That is the design of the Almighty, all-knowing. So this makes it pretty clear here that the earth was formed before the stars. So we know that to not be true.
Yeah, so I would have to look on the specific exegesis or the commentary of what our scholarly tradition has to say on that particular verse, but that would be something I would definitely have to look at. But yeah, in terms of the apparent meaning of this particular text, yes, you mentioned that the lowest heavens with the stars, like lamps, for beauty and for protection. Yeah, so in terms of the lowest heavens containing these stars, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I just would have to look at the specific commentary.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, I would. Yeah, so
okay,
yeah, that's something I would definitely have to look at.
Yeah, but now, would you agree it appears as if this is saying the earth was created before the stars?
Yeah. So when it says stars, is it comprehensive or is it all inclusive of every star created? Right. So that would be one question that I have.
Well,
and two, then I would have to. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, we know that there were stars that were created before the earth. Like, for example, our star, the sun. Like, we know that was created before the earth was created.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's just no way that the earth was created before any star was created, because this clearly says it was created first.
Right. So in that verse where it says stars, is it being comprehensive of all stars that are ever created? That would be my question, right?
No.
Heaven with stars.
I'm not saying that either, because it does say heaven with stars like lamps, right?
Right.
Right. And so, yeah, I hear that. And so, yeah, and we also know that there have been stars created after the earth was formed. We also know that to be true. So no, this isn't saying all stars. And I'm not saying all, and science doesn't say all stars were created before the earth. It's just saying, but we know that there were stars that were in existence before the earth because of things like light, right? Because light travels at the speed, the speed of light travels. And we know these light, the light that we're seeing from the universe, some of it's like billions and billions of years old. And so we know how, so that tells us, oh, well, then that star that it's coming from is at least that old. If it's like, say, 6 billion light years away, we know that star was formed way before the earth even existed. So if we know this for a fact, and this is saying to us, but it says, and we adorn the lowest heaven with stars like lamps, well, that is the design of the Almighty All-Knowing, well, then that can't be true.
Yeah, so when the part that you highlighted, stars, is that referencing all stars in creation?
I wouldn't say no. I honestly don't know. I mean, I could probably hover over these words and we can see.
I think that would make a difference, right? Because you even said it yourself that there are certain stars are made, or that are made. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Enz is trying to talk in the chat.
Is he?
He's saying yes, it does.
Okay, so he's saying yes, it is, and that's the issue. So this is saying that this is talking about all stars, every star. So from like a native Arabic standpoint, that's what it is. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, and go ahead.
Okay. So like I said, if we're talking about, if we know that that's not true, And, you know, so that right away just kind of pulls it into question, right? Like, if we know this isn't, like, you know, because then it kind of invites other questions, like why would Allah give us, say this happened, but we have evidence to the contrary?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, you make a fair point. Now, in terms of what I believe you mentioned, his name is Ems, is referring to that it being all stars. I would have to, yeah, I mean, I would love to read more deeply into this in terms of a reference, right? In terms of what our scholarly tradition has to say on this particular verse. But yeah, I can see where that would potentially be problematic. But again, I would have to kind of read about more on this. Yeah. Okay.
And then I think one more place, and then like from a moral issue, let's see, we have a little more time, so we can talk about the moral issue part. So like, you know, I've talked to multiple Muslims about this, but we have about 10 minutes left. So, so from a moral standpoint, do you consider, well, actually, first of all, do you believe that Muhammad married Aisha?
Yeah, I would affirm that.
And then do you believe that when the hadiths say that she was 6 years old when he married her? Is that true?
So yeah, we would, well, depending on what Muslim they would answer it differently, but per my position, I would uphold that particular hadith. Now, in terms of the actual maturity of Aisha, right, that would be the discussion that we kind of currently have, right? Is she mature, right? Is she, you know, physically and mentally mature in that respect? And I would affirm that she would be, yeah.
Okay, well, so then what would make a 6-year-old, what criteria would you use to determine whether or not a 6-year-old is mentally and physically mature to marry a 54-year-old man?
Yeah, so in terms of, and this is, I'm going to try to see if I can find an article, because there's actually an article in response to this objection. Do you mind giving me 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, thanks.
I need to dig into my stash of reaction memes so that I can say things while not saying things.
I hear you. Well, as you said, we have the coupons at the ready.
Yes. Yeah, anytime you choose.
I got you. Yeah. And I think I want to pull up the hadiths for everybody of what it says, because it's, you know, really interesting what it says. Because there were some other things that I found. I was doing a little bit of oh boy, as justice for Aisha. I was doing a little bit of light reading over the weekend. I know, right? It's kind of strange, but yeah. So that's the first part. It's this part right here. So you can see it right above my forehead. That the prophet married her when she was 6, and he consummated the marriage when she was 9. So that, you know, it's pretty troubling right there, right? It's the first part that's troubling. But then there's even more to it. Oh, that's what it was, because I actually posted a video about this, and it was in the comments. And there was other things in there like Aisha's mother fed her cucumbers or something like that to fatten her up, to make her gain weight for Muhammad. Kind of troubling. It's concerning. And just things like that. And that was, you know, so that was, and then I think I read those over the weekend, and that was hard to read. That was very, very hard to read.
I have that article pulled up. Thanks for waiting.
Yeah.
This is from Yaqeen Institute, and the author is, and if you want, you can pull it up as well, host. Let me give you the title.
Yeah.
It is Understanding Aisha's Age, an Interdisciplinary Approach. And this is from author Asadullah Ali Andalusi and Dr. Jonathan Brown. Okay.
I'm probably going to type in Jonathan Brown because There's no way I'm going to
Yeah.
spell the other guy's name right. Yeah, sorry about that. I just don't think it's going to happen. Okay, there it is.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's the flawed nature of accusations. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So
well, why don't
Yeah,
you
go
sum
ahead,
it up
sorry.
for us? I'll pull it up, but yeah, go ahead and sum it up
Yeah.
for us. What's it? What's
So
what's
basically-
essentially say?
Yeah. So I'll just kind of read a quote to you in terms of what I find kind of compelling. It says that the story of human development has gone through many phases. Empires have risen and fallen. Plagues have burned through entire populations. Let me just skim through this. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, because the abstract here I'm seeing is that it says that there's some flawed accusations, right, of the prophet's alleged immorality, as well as how Islam teaches us to adapt to the message of the Quran. Okay. So, yeah.
So sorry. Go ahead. I found that the quote that I was looking for, but it's if you scroll down, it's kind of in a bolded, italicized font. It says much of the tension. Yeah, if you keep going down.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm kind of happy. Okay, so much of the tension. Here it is.
Yeah, right here.
Much of the tension, the
that.
investigation of age and the past arises from the assumption that we can link biological to social age. Distinctions between the categories, particularly child, are the product of the current limitations. Okay, so let me ask you then, how do we? So what it sounds like it's saying is that there is a difference between the biological and the social age, and are you saying then that it's possible for a 9-year-old to be socially ready to marry a 54-year-old man?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would be, I think, the argument that the article makes.
All right.
I read this in the article in the past, but yeah. But
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is kind of hopefully some sort of answer that can help, I hope, but that would be kind of the way that I would approach it. This is an author that I highly respect.
I see.
So yeah, go ahead.
Do you understand children's brain development at all? Have you ever looked into that?
I have a rough understanding, but yeah.
They don't have the ability to reason like adults do. They don't have the ability to know if they're being groomed. They don't have the ability to understand what is happening to them. They are literally children. It doesn't matter if she had more skills than other 6-year-olds her age. Her brain was literally a child's brain, and in no time period has the child's brain ever been more developed than that.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it is that, we have a lot of evidence from neuroscience even that, that the brain doesn't fully develop until we're about 25 years old. And so do you have any evidence? What evidence do you have that Aisha's brain was fully developed at 6 years old?
Okay. So just to clarify, is your position that just to clarify, is your position that the brain has to be fully developed in order to be married?
It's got to be developed to the point where a person can make adult decisions. And so that's why I'm saying, because there are people who get married at 18, 19, 20, 21, under the age of 25, that, scientifically they would not have fully developed brains, but they are at the point of age of consent to where they can take responsibility for their own decisions. And so that's why I'm asking you, where is the evidence that her brain was developed to that point?
I think hopefully I can give an answer, but I think the best answer that I can give is in terms of just the consequence and how the life of Aisha kind of played out. So I'm pretty sure you're familiar with kind of her life, but in terms of her own life, she became one of the greatest hadith collectors and scholars of our own tradition.
Sure,
So she's
became,
known,
but not.
yes,
But
yeah,
we don't
mhm.
have any evidence that she was like that at the age of 6. So
Sure.
I'll let you do one more thing,
Yeah.
and then we're going to move on to the next guest. But go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys' time, but I think that my last comment I would make is that, right, there's no, in terms of what I've seen in terms of the evidence, there hasn't been any negative impact in terms of her own life that I can see that's been recorded in terms of her contribution to our tradition itself, in terms of hadith preservation, in terms of Islamic knowledge.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well,
yes.
Ali, I'm going to stop it right there, but I appreciate you coming
Sure.
up. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That, like, I don't know how you stay so calm, because I am like working so hard not to just like, because that is one of the most abhorrent things I have ever seen someone try to do.
Don't get me wrong, it's hard to hear. I mean, that's why I was like, okay, gotta go. Yeah, it's really, really hard to hear.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a
yeah,
dad of a
literally
15-year-old.
3 dolls. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of because
but see, this is the thing. I think as hard as that is to hear, and I know it's triggering for some people, the thing is that we have to, I think personally, like, every Muslim needs to talk about that, because I think that's the only way you're going to get anywhere with this, is to,
like, you have to actually make them say it.
You have to make them say it, because it has to be said out loud, because then people who are considering this religion, they have to hear it, and then understand, this is what you'll be defending. You're going to be defending this. And it's not, and you can hear it in his voice. It's not comfortable to talk about.
And to say that just because she prospered, I don't know, educationally or whatever within the religion, that doesn't speak to her mental well-being. That doesn't speak to the level of trauma that she would have endured, and the amount of brainwashing, indoctrination, things like that.
We have overwhelming evidence that, that I'm going to go out far on a limb and say 100% of 6-year-olds are not ready to marry a grown man.
Yeah.
100%. And that's not a far limb I'm going out on. We have,
Ali, we are not going to allow, I'm sorry, we're not going to allow child grape apology in this space.
We can't do it.
We know the evidence. We have scientific evidence for the trauma that kind of shit, what it puts on children. And there's no reason to think it would have been any better thousands of years ago.
Yeah. And, and so it's, yeah, absolutely right. So it's and honestly, I mean, I could hear it in the guest's voice. It's not a comfortable thing for them to talk about either. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be comfortable to talk about. Because we can't be, so that's what I mean, is like, if you're out in the hallways, if you're lurking and you're thinking about being a Muslim or anything like that, again, that's what you got to defend. That's what you have to, because if you're committed to saying there are no errors in this holy book, and Allah is like, the grounding of all morality and truth and merciful and all this other stuff, well, that's what comes with it. Can't separate the two. And that's, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I'm not convinced. I can't think of anything that would convince me that's okay. Can't think of it. At the same time, as hard as this is to hear myself say, at the same time, I'm still going to listen to the reasons as much as I don't want to listen to them. And I think it's really more because people need to hear it. I think that's really what it's more about. I don't think I'll ever be convinced that that's okay.
Yeah. It is so uncomfortable, and
very uncomfortable.
I just, as long as I can, vent and rant, and everybody, we can all kind of collectively just kind of
Process it.
spend,
Yeah.
spend time processing, kind
Mhm.
of just letting the pressure out of our systems
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
been building up the whole conversation.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. Yeah, because it just, whew,
Yeah. And I
everybody
match the energy
breathe.
of the guest
Yeah.
because like I've had, I mean, you guys, chat, you've seen it. You've seen people come in here who have been extremely arrogant, right? And have condescended to me, and I go at them. This guy at least he was respectful and he was calm and all that stuff, and he wasn't condescending to me at all.
Because
He was
sometimes that almost makes it worse
almost does.
when they
Yeah.
say it like
Almost.
so calmly and collected, that
Yeah.
it's that they've spent that time thinking about it,
Yeah, I
and
can understand
they
that.
are not emotional about it, and it's just it almost feels like it's more insidious, I guess,
I can
versus
understand
the
that.
outright just intensity.
I get that. I would love to hear it. Look, this is going to sound very uncomfortable, but I wish I could hear something like that. And but yeah, just yeah, I can't just accept that. It's just not acceptable to me. I mean, I got a 15-year-old daughter, for God's sakes. I just can't accept that.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. And especially if we're talking about, and here's the thing, I didn't get this far, but you've also heard me ask, would you, if your cousin or your niece, 6-year-old cousin were to marry a 54-year-old man, would you attend the wedding? And not one time have I heard a Muslim say, yes, I would go. Not one time. Because they simply won't go. Because I know deep down that's not right. It just, when you think about it,
there was one person there. I thought there was one person, maybe it wasn't your life, but there was one person who said that he would like allow his niece or his sister to be, maybe that was like sold into slavery, but similar thing, that if it was God who said it, then yes, basically.
So Nancy, that's not your job as a believer. If you're a Christian or a Muslim, that's not your job. That's not how this goes. According to your God, you have to go read your Bible if you're a Christian. It's not, you prove to me there is no God and I will prove there is. No, it's, you have to make disciples of us. So how would you go about doing that? That is your job. And a great question, Our Planet. Yeah. Why is it more okay if God says it? And we haven't gotten a satisfactory answer, and that's really what it comes down to. So I don't think you're following what your Bible says, Nancy. I really don't think you are. I think you need to go read your Bible, because as I said, I am, at least I'm going to just speak for me, but I am a non-resistant non-believer. You could convert me today. So what can you say, Nancy, that would convert me? So minister to me. We're not here to debate. I'm here to be ministered. And so if God don't like debates, then why are you saying, you prove to me that God is not real and I will prove to you that God is? That's not how this works. That's not what a debate is. That's what a debate is. So I think you're kind of going against what you're saying. So Nancy, you need to minister to me. So how do you convince me that your God is A, real, and B, I should worship? Okay, so you're not following up with, so you're not in line. I don't think you're a real Christian, Nancy. I don't think you are, because if you were a real Christian, you wouldn't be so quarrelsome. And I'm not going to lie. Actually, if you were a real Christian, I'm just going to assume you have a female standing name. Hate to say it, but you actually shouldn't even be talking. That's what your Bible says. I hate to say that, but I don't think, Ember, I think that's the first time I ever like said it like that, but I will never ever say that to somebody. Like as an own or as a burn, right? Do I really hate to say it? I do, honestly, Jessica. I don't think I'm not comfortable saying that to any woman, anybody, saying you're not supposed to be talking.
I totally missed it.
Oh,
I totally missed it.
I just said, because Nancy in the chat is just actually, and Nancy, watch the caps. That will get you muted. But Nancy called me a hypocrite, and I just said, well, that doesn't fall in line with what your Bible says. You're being quarrelsome. And then I said, and then I hate to say it, but if you're really a Christian, you shouldn't be talking at all, according to what Paul says. But see, yeah. I don't like using that one. And I almost will never, because I want to talk to women.
Right. As someone who grew up in that, I'm like, part of me likes using that, but I totally get that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because but that's like I don't know. I think I would use that. That's like a nuclear option, right? So I'd only use that like in
exactly
like last resort. I'm allowed to defend faith. Well, I hear that, Nancy. At 1 Peter 3 verse 15, you're supposed to I'm demanding of you an accounting of the hope that's within you. So what is your accounting of that? So you're not giving us any hope by calling us hypocrites, and you're being quarrelsome. So it's not being defensive, it's being quarrelsome. There's a difference. So minister to me, Nancy. Demonstrate to me that your God is the one to be worshipped. Sorry, everybody, my big old light unplugged by accident, so it went out. So I will be out of darkness here momentarily. There we go. So, yeah. All right, we have Andrew. Okay, let's bring up Andrew. How's it going, Andrew? This is my friend Ember.
Hey you two. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for coming up. So,
nice.
Just to verify, you're over 18 for TikTok purposes?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
None of them, actually.
None of them. None of the above. Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to share a little bit of my story and my point of view.
Okay.
I have been born and raised a Coptic Orthodox, which just means Egyptian. So that's a form of Orthodox Christianity. It's very similar to Greek. It's a very old school. And I've always wondered, ever since I was a kid, the divide in Egypt and a lot of the Arab countries is very it's very binary. You're either Muslim or Christian.
Okay.
I just always wondered, what if I was born a Muslim? I would have definitively thought my faith is the only right faith. But here I am, a Christian, also thinking the same thing.
Right.
And I'm thinking this is like a 10-year-old kid. So you can imagine now when I'm almost 30, there's been a lot that's happened. But I kind of went through a very long journey of deconstructing Christianity to begin with. And the Old Testament, of course, was the one that did it for me. I'm sure you're fully knowledgeable and aware of all the contradictions that don't make any sense whatsoever with Jesus's teachings, which I'm sure many would agree.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, Andrew. Could you speak up a little bit louder? Chat's having a little bit of problem hearing you. Yeah. And I'll try my best to boost your volume as well. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I am speaking on earphones, so they might not be the best ones.
Okay.
I apologize for that.
Let's see what we can do to
just to
help you.
recap what I was saying is I was born Christian, and I
Mhm.
have deconstructed my Christianity predominantly due to the contradictions of the Old Testament Bible with Jesus, or the more correct, historically accurate name, Yeshua.
Okay.
Which I think for many would agree that the teachings of Yeshua in their core are actually quite good. Do unto others as you would yourself. Treat your neighbor as yourself. Love everyone, etc. Contradicts the Old Testament. And then what really triggered me in the conversation earlier and in the chat is when you had Ali up and he was talking about Aisha and all this stuff, and I'm not going to get into details about it, but I actually converted to become Muslim sometime last year.
Mm.
And I was Muslim for about a week.
A week.
And I can go into detail. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I can go into full detail as to why, but the point of that is what really deconstructed it for me was I had thought that there was a pattern with the Abrahamic religions, and I thought that it was kind of like an evolution over time, and that the Islam was kind of like the final kind of update, if you will, to this system to kind of go, cool, this is it, it's done, and this is the last of the teachings that you're going to get, and good luck with the rest of it, right?
Okay.
Till the apocalypse or whatever it is, which all three books agree is going to happen.
Okay.
Right? And then, of course, I read the hadiths, and that shattered all the illusions.
There you go.
Because how can a benevolent, just, loving God, which they always preach that, this is the ironic part, with all of the blood, the war, the sacrifice, the things that I'm not going to mention because I don't want this to get flagged, but with all this stuff, and you still come and try to convince us that your God is just, benevolent, and loving. It's absolutely impossible to believe. And what really broke it for me was all the hadiths that go into gory details about what a woman can and can't do, and how her husband should treat her, and the duties that she should
Totally
carry
agree.
out in the household.
Yeah.
Based on whether or not she's on her time of the month. That is just absolutely disgusting.
It's insane. Yeah.
After that, I was just like, I'm done. Like, I cannot call myself a Muslim when this is what is at the core of it. And here is the thing, right? This is what I want to challenge religious people on. You cannot defend parts of the book that you like and parts that you don't. You take it wholesale or you throw it in the bin. That's just how it works, and that is exactly how your religious leaders do it. You take it all, you take none of it, right? Stop trying to slice and dice. That's not to say that you can't take wisdom from the books. Of course there's going to be wisdom. All the best lies are actually half truths. We know this. We know this in the age of propaganda, right? So that is kind of my challenge to anyone else that comes up after me, to try and defend any of these Abrahamic religions. And I also urge them to consider this. Why is it that these three Abrahamic religions are based purely on men? Abraham, a man. It's always the men. The God is a man. The pastors are men. The bishops are men. The clergy, everyone, the women can't even go into, not the places of worship, but they can't go into the temples as well.
Right.
And this segregation of men and women in both of them. Why is that pattern evident if you are so much better? And they all hate each other. That's the funny part. The three Abrahamic religions, they all hate each other vehemently. I know that because I was in two of them, right? So how does any of this make sense? Is this kind of what I'm posing to anyone else that comes up after me? And absolutely. I just wanted to kind of share a little bit of my perspective.
Okay. So where are you at now? Just so I'm clear. Just curious.
Oh, good question. I'm very open-minded. I am spiritual. I believe in God, but not in the textbook definition of God. I don't even put labels I just think of it as the universe, if you will.
I gotcha.
That's one way of putting it.
Okay, so so it sounds like to me you're like a non-resistant deist. So we're kind of So I think we share the non-resistant.
Well,
part.
I don't believe in deities though. I don't believe that there is a personified. I don't believe that there is a personification or a labeled version of God.
Gotcha.
I think even the word God. I think even the word God is reductive.
Okay, I gotcha. So I understand. So so not quite sure what to call it, but like some sort of higher power.
Well, even then, I believe that the higher power is working through all things and all.
Okay.
It's kind of like an all-encompassing consciousness.
I feel you, and I'm not trying to force you into a pigeonhole you into a corner or nothing like that.
No,
I'm just trying to understand.
The vibe I'm getting anyway.
Okay, good. I'm just trying to understand that. That's all. Yeah. And so it sounds like in a lot of ways we're in the same space. And I remember like believing in spirituality and things of that sort, before I fully deconstructed at least my beliefs. So I totally understand. And I'm totally with you on what you're saying. I totally get it. And I think that's what part of this live is today, what this exercise is about, is to, to really, like, especially for Christians, is to challenge them and say, look, this is what your book says. And so if this is what your book says, instead of like arguing and fighting and debating, minister to me, convince me that this is true and that I should worship this God. Not going to lie, it's a tall order, but I mean, that's what they've been called to do. That's part of their belief.
That's right.
And so if you are truly a Christian and if you truly believe in this God, then you should take on that responsibility with no hesitation. I mean, and I would say, now let me ask you this, Andrew. If you were given like compelling evidence, like just like undeniable evidence that this, let's just call it the Christian God. I'm just throwing it out there, that the Christian God is real, A, and B, that, all the things that you have problems with as far as that comes with that, believing this Christian God, can all be explained. Would you, A, believe it, and B, worship this God?
That is a fantastic question, and I have already considered it before. So my answer may come across as a bit rehearsed, but that's because I've already thought about this.
No, that's fine.
So if I had irrefutable evidence that the Christian God is real, I would definitely tell people what I know, but that does not mean that I will worship that God, because I already know what that entity has done, right? Because just because something is real does not mean it is what it claims to be.
Exactly.
That's where I draw the line, and that was kind of the truth that revealed itself to me when I was reading the Old Testament. I was like, well, you know what? A God that is willing to sacrifice children and women and burn them at the stake is no God of mine.
Right.
And I don't care how real or unreal he is.
I agree.
And that to me only reveals that you cannot be, if we want to believe in an ultimate, all or nothing, benevolent, pure love God, if you want to call God, or the universe, or whatever it is, or divine consciousness, it cannot be that. It cannot be something that requires worship. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So no, I would not worship it, and I would not even believe that is God. It would just be a powerful entity that maybe knows one or two things that we don't, and can appear to us as God. But like, you ask an ant, is a human God? And it'll probably say yes.
Yeah, true. But see, you wouldn't, I don't think that if you were trying to destroy its anthill, that it would just turn around and worship you, right? It wouldn't do that. It would panic and flee and try to save it.
They would bite you. They would bite you, and they would attack you back. Because you are going against the very nature. If you were God, you would not be doing something like that anyway. It should be in harmony with the very nature that you
Exactly.
supposedly created.
100% agree. Yeah.
Right?
100% agree. And so I think that, yeah, from my perspective, like I said it earlier, I don't know if you were in here, but I said it earlier that there is actually two parts to this for me. Is first getting me to believe that this God exists, right? There's that one. And then getting me to believe that all the lists of atrocities that you mentioned are good for God to do. And
Oof.
I think, and that's a tall.
You're never going to get past that one with me.
Don't think you're going
to.
That's
That's actually where I start the conversation with Christians.
Yeah.
I don't even go with make me believe that God is real. I'll just go, hey, you know what? Your God is real. Why is he a good God? Explain to me.
Yeah, that's a great, and a lot of times
Let's keep it simple.
A lot of times I have just conceded. Like a lot like with Phil Bros when they come up, I'll just concede. Okay, let's just say your God exists. Now what? And then we get into the morality of it. And that's just where it all falls apart, because they want to, I think they want to fight tooth and nail for the existence of this God. And I think that's where everybody wants to sit, but they want to get away from all the morality of it. They want to get away from that, and kind of flip it around. Like the other day, a guy told me, well, you don't have any grounding to determine whether or not this God is moral. Like, why does that even matter?
What's the grounding? A book given by a bishop that says that they were ordained by God, by a king that slays men too?
Yeah.
Let's
and even
not
if he
forget
was
that they said that kings and queens are ordained by God. That is how the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages we're going on. That's how they continue to rule over people and have royalty. Royalty was meant to be decreed by God or the gods. That happened everywhere across the world.
Happened everywhere.
Every
civilization. So, and even if you grant that, let's just say, you know what, Andrew, you and I and Ember and, everybody who's a non-believer in this chat on both platforms, even if we have no grounding, right, for our logic, for our morality, even if we, without God, okay, it still has to make sense. It still has to point to some type of morality. And if it goes against our understanding of what morality is, then how can we call this God the grounding of morality? It ends up not making sense. Because then that means that we would have to accept that all the atrocities that you listed at the beginning of this conversation are okay, are good. And
well, except what they love, their favorite word is context. And I hated that word every time I brought up the Old Testament. But what's the context? There is no context in which child sacrifice is ever acceptable.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah. Hold on.
Of story.
Let me stop. A seed of Abraham. You have no way to determine that. I'm a non-resistant non-believer. So I'm open. So how about you come up, seed of Abraham, and, because that's your job, is to redeem me. That is your job. So that is what you were supposed to do as a Christian. So you shouting from the chat, you're beyond redemption, that's not ministering to me. And that is not what your Bible says. So you need to come up and...
very unchristian behavior.
It's very unchristian. Yeah. So you have to...
The biggest of sinners, and I quote that as well, but the biggest of sinners that were about to get stoned, Yeshua himself stopped everyone and said, do not cast another stone.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you trying to say?
Exactly. Well, it's a cop-out, because if you're going to say, oh, you're beyond redemption, it's just it's a cop-out, and you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to try to save my soul. You're supposed to save all of our souls. That's what you're here to do. It says, go and make disciples of all the nations. It doesn't say, except the ones that are beyond redemption, or decide which ones are beyond redemption and avoid them. No, you're supposed to make disciples of all of us, every single one of us. So, where are you? We're here. We're waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing as well that I want to share that I found very intriguing, when I was deconstructing Christianity and the Old Testament cracked it wide open for me, I fell into a lot of the deleted or banned Christian books from the Ethiopian Bible and also from the Nag Hammadi library, which was discovered actually quite recently compared to how old some of the other books are supposed to be. And there's a lot of things in there that pretty much all the churches do not want to be published in the standard Bible. And that's because a lot of it is actually about self-sovereignty and about having a direct connection with God. And a lot of it is also about empowering women. And all of that goes against the teachings of the church, which was obviously co-opted by the Roman Empire. And if we want to go into that, that is a very deep rabbit hole as well.
Yeah.
Because it's so funny how the Roman Empire was hunting Christians down nonstop. And then all of a sudden, they become the Vatican, and they become the center of hope for the world somehow. And it makes no sense. You built your whole empire on conquering and colonization. A lot of people say the Romans were actually the first colonizers, because they would come in and then they would take the land, and then they would impose all of their culture and beliefs on you, right? And not allow you to still be your own people. And that's what colonization is, right? And then they subvert everything, and then they use your women, they use your children, they use your resources, they plunder, but they're still their own nation that's independent, and now you're kind of like slaves to them. That's colonization. Right. So how is it that one of the most evil things that man can do is suddenly this system turns into, but we love you and we just want you to be you like us?
Yeah.
So that's another part to it. But I will say, I think you may find it very relevant and very interesting to be reading some of those banned books. A lot of people call them the Gnostic texts or the Gnostic books.
I've read some of them, and it is pretty interesting stuff, because it makes you kind of, I can see, like, there's some, like, when I was a believer, there were some, what seemed to be some rational reasons why they left it out of the Bible, for example, like some of the Gnostic texts. But then there were some where you're like, okay, why did they leave this one out? There doesn't seem to be a good reason why, especially when you find out the age of some of these, like Luke, for example, was clearly, it's good evidence it was written in the 2nd century. And there are other Gnostic texts that were written at the same time that were left out. And it makes you wonder why. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, you're like, why was this one left? I mean, like, okay, the Gospel of Jesus. Okay. That one you can kind of understand. That seems like fan fiction, and I think it was in the 3rd century that it came out, but it was a fun read. But as part of the Gnostic text, it was a pretty fun read. It talks about like Jesus as a kid, right? It's actually pretty funny. So I don't know if you've read that one, but you gotta give that one a go.
No, I haven't actually.
It's pretty entertaining, yeah. Something about
Maybe
him.
That's why I didn't read it, because it wasn't as serious.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. But it's like the Gospel of Jesus. Whoa, where'd this come from? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Serious.
It does until you read it.
It's like when a band releases a self-titled album and you're like, whoa, this has got to be like their biggest work. It's got to be a masterpiece.
Exactly. Well, I think I have a believer up, Andrew. Is there any last words?
No, that is all. I've been watching you closely, and I mean that in the best way, from afar, because I don't really have anything to contribute until now. So thank you for having me. And
absolutely.
Keep doing the good work.
Thanks, Andrew. And I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us. All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
You too.
All right. So, I don't think the seed of Abraham is a true Christian, because, because you wouldn't be saying the things that you were saying if you were. So either you haven't read your Bible, or there's this, you don't have enough faith. I'm not quite sure what it is. And that's probably why you have to hide in the comments, because you don't have boots for this hike. All right. Yeah. And the seed of Abraham, that's kind of a sketchy name too. How you doing, Laura?
Diabolical. Hi. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just for TikTok purposes, we just make sure we're in terms of service. You're at least 18?
Yes, I'm going on 60.
Oh, okay. Well, you carry it well.
Yeah,
So
getting up there.
very good. All right. Well, Laura, thanks for waiting. Thanks for coming in. And now, which God do you believe in? Is it the Christian God, the Muslim God?
Yes. Yeah, I believe in the Christian God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right. And so, yeah, so that's what I'm kind of doing here today. I'm a non-resistant non-believer. So, yeah, how would you go about saving my soul?
Well, I can't save your soul. The only one that can save your soul is the working of the Holy Spirit in your soul to believe on Jesus. And I thought you did say that at one time you were a believer. Were you ever born again by the Spirit and accepted Jesus as your Savior and Lord, believing that He died for you? And
I was a Christian for over 30 years. Yeah, absolutely.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, then I don't know how I could. I mean, I can't save your soul. Only God can save your soul, and it takes faith to believe in that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, you believe what the Bible says when it says to make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit,
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit,
and teaching them to
yes.
obey everything that I've commanded you. So how would you go about making a disciple of me?
If you didn't, just starting out new, not knowing anything in the Bible, I would basically just start with the very basics.
Right.
First and foremost, I mean, I believe there's only one way by that man can be redeemed to God, and that's through the shed blood of Jesus Christ on the cross, and that He rose from the grave, right? So once someone believes that, I would probably start off. I mean, Scripture can be very complicated, right? But it can be very simple too. You start off reading the Gospels. You learn more about Jesus, like you said. You learn more about Jesus' teachings. You learn. You learn as you go. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's different and, how they learn. But I think the most important thing is when you do accept Him, you want to pray. You want to learn more about Him. You want to study. You want to. I mean, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a preacher. I'm not an apostle. I'm not a pastor. But I've learned a lot just studying on my own. Of course, I've listened to men, teachers and preachers and pastors. Some of it I agree with, some of it I don't,
Yeah.
I mean, I follow this. The Bible says to me, and I think it's in 1 Timothy, study to show yourself approved unto God.
Absolutely.
And basically when you study it and you learn about God and you learn of the fruits of the Spirit, you learn, I mean, we have a flesh that we live in and we do bad things in our flesh. But when we follow the Spirit and we truly follow the Spirit, then we want to love our enemies. We don't want to do horrible things to other people. You know what I mean? We don't want to, like you said, there's horrible comments in here, and that's not a God. I mean, why would you say that?
Well,
it's not loving. Anything that's not of love is not of God.
You make a great point, Laura. So, because like a couple of things about that. Because I mean, one of the things is that the reason I stopped being a Christian is I read the Bible, because like what you said in 1 Timothy, it was my desire to, know Jesus better, know God better.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was the more I read the Bible, the more it became apparent to me that this is an unbelievable God. It's just not believable. And so why would it do that to me? Like the more I read it, the more I read it, the more it caused me to believe less.
Well, number one, of course, I've questioned, Lord, why do children die? Why do babies die?
Yeah.
Wait, we got to say unalive. Why do people unalive other people? Why did this wonderful Christian person just get assassinated? Why, right? Well, what I do know is that, and of course not everybody believes this, but, Adam, I believe he was the first man created. When when Eve committed sin in the garden, we were separated from God. That's when we did our first sin. We rebelled against God. So God had to find a way to redeem us back to Him, which is why Jesus eventually came on the scene. But since that happened, we're always going to live in a fallen world. Not only that, yes, I do know some of the horrible things that happened in the Bible, especially to the enemies of Israel. It included God actually commanded certain kings of Israel to do away with the the whole race. I mean, certainly,
Right.
Amalekites and all that. Yes.
Right.
And
Right.
I reserve that judgment for God because he is all-knowing, omnipotent. He knows the beginning, the middle, the end of everyone. And I do think if he knows the future. So any future race or generation that could potentially try to eliminate Israel, and of course, he always protect the Israelites. He always protected the Jews. And to this day he does. We see what's going on right now. I mean, so I can't judge God. He's God. That's how I feel. Do I like that? I would never, none of us ever likes to see anything horrible happen to anybody. It grieves my heart. But,
right.
I can't answer that question as to why that happened.
Okay.
Well, I can understand kind of the motives behind it because he is God.
And why can't we judge God? Why can't we?
Because he's ultimately righteous.
He's ultimately righteous?
Yes, he's ultimately righteous. We are human beings. We're never going to be righteous. We think we are.
Okay.
We think we know what's good and right and wrong and, who should be alive, who shouldn't, why this, why that. But no, he's ultimately righteous and his love is pure and perfect.
Okay. Why then, Laura, would something like babies being born with cancer, which to just about everybody I know goes against our intuition on what is good, right? I don't think there's anyone who thinks that babies being born with cancer is good. I mean, I've talked to people here and there. It's horrible, right? So why then wouldn't God give us that understanding? Because do you agree that God is all powerful, right? He's all knowing. Wouldn't it be the right thing to do to give us that understanding of why babies have to be born with cancer instead of just not being born at all?
Because we live in a fallen world, because men in their listen, this is what I'm going to say. Men through, the reason cancer is getting worse is because men are so smart and they invent all these wonderful things, use all these horrible chemicals. We've done nothing but try to trash our world, okay? As a byproduct of all that, because of that and the Industrial Revolution and, whatever else was happening, my goodness, we have radioactivity. Whoever knew about that way back when?
Yeah.
Because of that, because of man, we have messed up our environment. Now we're exposed to so many things in our bodies. I mean, how can we blame God for that?
Okay, well, let me ask you
really,
then, Laura.
we're exposed to cancerous chemicals every day, and it's going to get worse.
Let me ask you then, were any of these cancerous chemicals around when the dinosaurs existed? Because we found cancer in dinosaur bones. So are you telling me that there was all these man-made chemicals in the air 65 million years ago?
I'm not sure. I didn't know they found cancer in dinosaur bones.
Yeah, it was it was a 76 million year old dinosaur bone had bone cancer. So it seems to me that that's been like pre-existing, and there've been diseases for pretty much as far as we can tell, as long as the planet has been here. Like they found mosquitoes trapped in amber, like fossils of mosquitoes trapped in amber with malaria. So we know malaria has been around for millions of years before humans ever walked the earth. So that's why I'm trying to understand if this is a product of the fallen world, then that means then was the world always fallen?
Well, I'm going to blow your mind now because, and I don't know that every Christian believes in all this, and I've done a little bit more studies and stuff, but I do believe there was a Luciferian flood. I believe that the earth existed before. I believe the earth was here and was without form. The earth was here. It was without form and void. Okay, so darkness, it was darkness. There was stuff here. And I do believe, yes, in the prehistoric, all that stuff existed. I do believe dinosaurs, yes, I believe they were destroyed in a pre-Adamite flood.
Okay.
I've just done a lot more studying on it. I have I don't know, I can't tell you my exact sources. I do study from a Dake's Bible, But I do believe that there was something dark that happened even before Adam was created.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll say,
I
so
do believe in the
something.
pre-Adamite.
Okay. So if
Yes.
something dark happened before Adam was created, then
Yep.
so then now we're talking about God creating an existence in which this. So it sounds like this has been happening multiple times. This has happened.
I believe when Satan rebelled against God,
Okay.
and
Satan
him and a third of the angels, they were
Yeah.
fell from heaven. That's when I think they were roaming the earth.
And so
Yes.
if God created Satan and his angels who were fallen, right?
Yeah, he did
God knew
create
that,
people with free will from the beginning.
and God
Even
knew
his
this was going to
angels.
happen, right?
Yeah, because he creates people to have a will to be able to create, to either for good and evil. He's always created good and evil. Yes, God created
Okay.
both.
He created good and evil, and so
He created a choice for good and evil.
he created the choice for good and evil. So if he created the choice for good
Yep.
and evil, and God knew at the beginning that, now did God know before he created Satan that Satan was going to do what he was going to choose what he was going to choose?
I believe he's all omnipotent. I believe he did know.
So he did know, yet he created him
You
anyway.
know, yet he still created, because he created all human beings, and he still knows what the outcome is going to be.
So if he knew that this was going to happen and he did this anyway, and
Yeah.
now we have this Satan who is tempting people, who is trying to drag people to hell, why then would he allow this being to exist?
Because he still, when he created us, he gave us free will, I believe.
Okay.
I
He gave us
believe
free
he
will.
gave us a choice, because we had a choice. He said when he created them, you have a choice. You can, you listen to me. This is what you should do, and but do not eat of the fruit of that tree, because he knew when they did, their eyes would be opened up to the knowledge of good and evil.
Okay.
And that's what they decided to go ahead and do that. They, with their own free choice, they made that choice. We have that choice to do
Okay.
whatever we want every day.
And then,
It's the same principle.
okay, but then if we kind of circle back to the babies born with cancer, are you saying then that they chose to be born with cancer?
What I'm saying is we are fallen human beings. We can be born with
Right.
disease just based on being in a fallen world with diseases.
Do we have a choice in that though? That's what I'm asking. But
that's different.
Why?
And that is different because we're exposed to things. Because, I mean, we live in a fallen world. I mean, we don't make choices. Who would choose disease if we all chose to be? So do you think God, listen, if it was a perfect world, then none of us should ever be sick. There should be no unaliving. There should be, because God should intervene always and not give anybody free will and say, you know what, I'm going to override your free will, and this is going to be a perfect world, whether you like it or not.
Now,
and actually, you,
is
sir,
heaven?
if what you're trying to prove is, so he would say, no, you will worship me, because you know why? Because I know right from wrong. There's no disease, no nothing. You are not allowed to say that you don't have a choice. And cancer is different. The world we live in is fallen. It's full of disease. We know that.
Is
So
heaven
what are you
perfect?
I mean, yes, I do believe heaven
Okay.
is perfect.
Do we have
Because
free
it's
will in
based
heaven?
on our spiritual bodies.
Do we have
Yes, I
free-
do believe we're still going to have free will in heaven.
Okay, so then that means then
And
that
I
if
do
in
believe-
heaven, well, in heaven, that means then that you could
Actually
rape, you could
turn against
murder, you could unalive people, you could steal. No?
I
Why not?
actually believe that no, there's going to be no sin in heaven, but he is going to come down and create a new heavens and earth. Well, before that, there's going to be a millennial reign where we are still allowed to make a choice.
How do we have
There's going
free
to be
will
a
in heaven?
millennial reign. We won't be there if we're saying we'll just immediately not be there. I mean, no,
Just
you're
not
right.
be there?
He's not going to allow he's not going to allow sin in heaven.
Okay, so we don't have free will in heaven.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, it's not quite adding up for me. That's what I'm trying to understand. So,
well, we won't have a flesh. So our flesh is what sins. We're going to be spiritual. So in a sense, our spirit's going to be in heaven. It's going to be made perfect. We're not going to have a flesh where we're going to be doing those things because sin resides in the flesh. So you know that our flesh won't be there.
Well, I don't know. Well, wait a minute. Can you sin just by speaking words?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not a sin of the flesh then. That's, because that's from the mind. Oh, Rainbow Ash.
There's not going to be that in heaven. As a member. It's going to be, we're going to have spiritual bodies in heaven. And he's not going to, I mean, if we have a tendency towards sin, it's not going to be there in heaven.
We're still going to have a mind though, right?
But our mind is going to be pure based from our spirit.
Okay. But then
will.
That sounds like the taking of free will though.
No, because we chose God. So I don't think we're going to be in heaven unless we chose God. Unless we chose Jesus Christ as our Savior and Lord. He's going to purify our spirits. We're going to have wholeness there.
Well, wait a minute.
We're going to have wholeness. There's going to be no temptation there.
Well, you choose God now, right?
Yeah, I choose him now.
Okay, yet you still sin. I mean, I'm not like accusing you of anything. I'm not. Please don't take it the wrong way. I'm just saying.
Because the Bible, there is a verse that talks about the fullness of the Spirit. We have a propensity to sin because we're still on the earth in a physical body.
Okay, because I guess I'm trying to understand. Because if a person chooses God, and that is what causes them, because you said a little bit earlier, we choose God and we're in the spirit with God, and that's why we don't sin. Well, because see, that's the thing, is that the Bible backs you up on that, because you're not supposed to sin if you truly believe in God. So are you saying you don't truly believe in God, or the Bible is wrong?
No, the Bible says it says if we fall, we can call. I mean, there is verses about, people sinning. And that's why what is it? In 1 John, God, I should have my Bible verses already. If we sin, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Yeah. And that's for people that are saved. I mean, so we still have... I'm sorry, but I don't think there's any perfect Christian on this earth. I know too many of them, and I know better.
Yeah. And then I think that's kind of the issue, because here, let me pull up the verses here, because this is what I'm talking about. If we go to first book of John, and actually says it twice. So he's pretty emphatic about it. Oh boy, it's all over John, actually. So, let's go. Yeah. So if we go 1 John chapter 3, verses 6 through 9, it basically says, here, I'll put it up on the screen. Let me scroll down a little bit so you can read it better. Can you see that, Laura?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So it says, no one who abides in him sins. Yeah, it says, no one who abides in him sins. No one who sins has either seen him or known him. Little children, let no one deceive you. Everyone who does what is righteous, just as he is righteous. Everyone who commits sin is of the devil, for the devil has been sinning from the beginning. The Son of God is revealed us for this purpose. But those who have been born of God do not sin, because God's seed abides in them. They cannot sin because they have been born of God. Now, have you been born of God?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so that means you can't sin. It says they cannot sin because they have been born of God. They do not sin because God's seed abides in them. So it clearly says here, you're born of God, you don't sin. Yet you just said, so is it, Laura? Well, I'm going to have to say, Laura, I mean, you sound really nice, so I might have to say maybe you don't sin. And, but you do see others who do, other Christians who do. So are they not born of God, or what's going on with them?
And yeah, I love that verse. I love that verse that you brought up. Every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. Whoever committeth sin transgresseth the law, for the sin is transgression of the law. You know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. Whoever abideth in him sinneth not. Whoever sinneth hath not seen him, neither known him.
Yeah. And do you abideth in him?
Maybe not.
Maybe not? I mean, because it says you're born in him, you're abideth in him.
I've always wondered about that. Like, nobody ever explained that to me, and I know that scripture.
Yeah. And
so
it clearly says if you, that's what I'm saying. So then that's the thing. And you don't strike me as someone who doesn't truly believe in God. You don't strike me that way. I mean, you came up on here. Yeah. So, but see, that's the problem. Because that seems like that's what all it takes. You said you're born again. I think that's what I heard. So
or maybe I'm not.
You've been baptized?
Maybe based on that verse, I'm not, because I'm still sinning.
Then what would it take to get you there?
Maybe a total surrender.
Total stranger.
A total surrender. And maybe
total surrender. I thought you said total surrender.
Oh,
okay.
no,
I thought you said total stranger. And I'm like, okay.
No.
Well, hey, Laura.
No, I mean based on that
groove
scripture, you're right. I'm still sinning. I'm not there yet.
Okay. All right. But I mean, that's the thing. Well, then what would it take for a total surrender then? Like, what would that take? Like, what does that even look like?
I feel like it's a surrender of your total will every day, every moment.
Okay.
You know, when you're tempted, you don't do it because you're so surrendered to God that you're like, no.
And then
I don't know. I don't know the answer to all that. And that scripture, that's always convicted me, that scripture. But but here's what I do know. When I do something wrong, immediately I know it. You can't tell me I don't.
What could you possibly do wrong?
It.
You sound like a very nice person. What are you? Are you kicking puppies or something? Like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing wrong?
No, I mean, it could be the littlest thing. It could be the littlest thing. But
like, doesn't she sound nice, everybody? I just can't imagine Laura doing something like, are you like stealing stuff at the store? I mean, what's going on?
No.
Like,
I do.
Are you like I don't know, knocking over lemonade stands that kids have?
No, maybe I have not. No, I've gotten angry and maybe said something to someone and I wished I never said it. And oh gosh, why did I do that? Even though they did some horrible thing to me. I mean, I'm still not that kind of person that wants to react that way. I want to react in love to everybody, even if, no matter what. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is, I think we do say things out of turn, right? We say things we don't mean.
Yeah.
Does that necessarily mean that's sin, though? Because
maybe
everybody
not.
does that, right? I don't know. Maybe not. But I guess that's...
I do. Anything that's not of love is sin.
Okay. Anything that's not of love?
Right? You knew that when you were a believer.
Yeah. But I think that's what I think that's because, again, kind of going back to the person that was in the comments, making what they were, like you agreed that, that he was not making very godly comments in the chat, right? Which is why I question if whether or not he actually was a believer, because as a believer, you're not supposed to be saying stuff like that. I think people should be more acting like you. You sound like a genuinely nice person, and that you seem like, and look, and I'm only getting this from spending 24 minutes talking to you, but I mean, unless you got people tied up down in your basement or something, sure, possible, but I'll never know.
No.
I guess the point being is that this is what I come more to expect. Because I got to be honest with you, Laura, and my chat can vouch for me. I get a lot of mean Christians up here. I get a lot of arrogant, mean, condescending Christians.
I've seen it. I've been in other ones, and I'm like, I get so upset when I hear it. I'm like, oh, well, how could you call yourself a Christian and act like that?
Yeah.
Because you don't.
And I think that's why I have this today. That's why I'm saying, hey, minister to me, because you're supposed to be, as a Christian, that's what you're supposed to do. It says in 1 Peter 3 verse 15, Be prepared to give an accounting for anyone who demands it, to anyone who demands it. Right.
Yes.
So and that's me, that's what I'm doing. And I'm demanding an accounting of the hope that's within you. And you've shared some of that today. Don't get me wrong. I would say though that but see, the thing is that then it goes further than that, right? You've expressed the hope that's within you.
Yeah.
It goes further than that. It goes to then the trouble with that, Laura, is that other religions have that kind of hope as well. And so how do I, as an outsider, tell your hope is the real hope versus theirs, which is the false hope? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's because my hope is based on Jesus. And I do believe God sent him as a son. He was fully man, but yet fully God.
Mm-hmm.
He'd emptied himself of his divinity. I mean, not totally his divinity. Yes, he was still God. He knew God, but he died on the cross. And when that happened, and he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? When he was a perfect man and he was perfectly God, at that point, that's when he took the judgment of all of our sins. And for the first time, I mean, Jesus was separated from his Father. That must have been a horrible thing, the darkness that surrounded him. But so I don't know what makes it different. The fact that, and listen, we can never find anywhere where Jesus was there for the people, the everyday people. He loved people. He didn't discriminate. He loved the lowly, right? Did he not? He loved the low people, the adulteress. He did say, go and sin no more. He stopped things that were happening. Who he was most angry with was the religious people who thought, they knew everything, the money changers, this and that, right? I mean, Jesus was a wonderful, loving man, and he healed people, he delivered people, it was the good news to me. And what he preached was right. I don't know. To me, it was just like the epitome of love. It was he didn't have to die. He could have called 10,000 angels and gone right back up to heaven, and none of us would be with him. But he did. Like, how many of us would do that for the whole world? And listen, we could say, we could die for a man. A lot of people have. They've sacrificed their life for another man. But no man has ever taken the judgment of God on them. No man, ever. Okay.
Well, let me kind of, we have a little bit of time left, but let me kind of bring to your attention a verse, a passage in Matthew 15, where it looks like Jesus really did discriminate. So let me bring that up on screen, and we can
the dogs.
Yes. Okay, you know which one. See, you're actually pretty well versed in your Bible. I'm impressed.
Yep.
I think you're one of the few Christians I've talked to that actually has read the Bible. And
I memorized 500 scriptures.
Goodness.
Do I remember where they're all at? I don't.
Yeah. And so, so we have here, the Canaanite woman. And we know the history of the Canaanites, right? They were considered less than by the Jews. So there's a history there. And so, it says here, have mercy on me, O Lord, son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon. But he didn't even answer at all. He didn't acknowledge her. And in fact, he said, send her away, for she keeps, oh no, that was the disciples. But he answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came and knelt before him, and he said, it's not fair to take children's fruit and throw it to the dogs. And, and I have to get to the rest of it. I think I can go to 29. Is it 28 or 29? One of the two. 28. But it says here, she said, yes, Lord, let even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall off my master's table. And then that's when he said, woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish. So what it took, Laura, was not only for her to beg, but to then be humiliated and say, yes, I'm a dog. And even dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. So she had to even humiliate herself further just to get her daughter healed.
No, actually, what that scripture refers to, back in the day, Gentiles were called dogs by the Jews. So Christ merely used
Absolutely.
the common speech of his people. Dogs were not cared for in the East. In the East, when grown,
Yeah.
the term was not offensive. It merely expressed the fact that Gentiles were outside the covenant rights of Israel. The woman acknowledged her position as an undeserving and without legal covenant rights to the children's bed, and yet she used the Lord's own words over concerning dogs as grounds for further claim for healing. That was her wisdom.
So is that then?
That was her wisdom.
Okay, so we have though is we have like evidence that a lot of cultures use that at that time around the turn of the century as a pejorative word, and it was considered like a racist. It was like a person was less than human. Like the Romans used it in that manner, right around that time as well. So are you saying that the Jews used it differently than other cultures at that time?
Basically, what it meant when he said that was it merely expressed the fact that Gentiles were outside the covenant rights of Israel.
Okay. And
I
understand what you said. I guess what I'm trying to understand.
And they referred to a lot of people that way.
Okay, but what I'm trying to understand then is if this was used as a way to regard people as less than human, and it was usually done to people of other. Yeah, that's how it was used. And so if that was the way, if that's how it was, well, that's the evidence we have. I mean, if that's what it was, why would this be different?
It wasn't. He didn't consider her less than human. He considered the women acknowledged.
No, I'm saying that it was used that way amongst people at that time, and so that's why I'm asking you, why would we consider this different? Because I think that's essentially what you're telling me.
You're making a claim. But what I'm saying is when they call people that, it meant that they didn't have legal covenant rights.
Yeah, I've heard that apologetic. Yeah.
Okay. So that's all I'm saying. Today we hear that and we go, oh, that's horrible.
Well,
but
yeah,
all he was saying,
it's horrible because we know what the context is.
The children but no, he wasn't. He wasn't saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, woman, you're less than human." He just said,
"Why does that make it any better that it was because they were outside of the covenant? Why does that make him calling her a dog any better?"
In today's world, or back then?
I mean, why would that change? Does God change? Does morality change?
So what? Okay, so Gentiles, dogs. Back then, it meant the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Exactly. Do you not see how that is literally dehumanizing
for us today? Back then, it was just like you would call me a Gentile.
It's dehumanizing at any time period. Just because it was normal back then doesn't mean it was any better.
And on top of that, it is dehumanizing by default because you're actually calling a human a dog. So that's literally dehumanizing. And I think that's what we're trying to express. And, racism
in this
is a
day
form
and
of
age,
dehumanization.
well, in this day and age, we probably would feel that way, but back then maybe they didn't. Maybe it's just a way of calling somebody, hey, or,
No,
you're a Gentile.
There's no evidence for that.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. But hey, listen, Laura, they did vote to move on, but I appreciate you coming up. I appreciate the cordial conversation.
All right.
All right. Have a good day.
All right.
So yeah, it just good question, by the way, right there at the end. Excellent question.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was an excellent question. It was yeah, I mean, when you literally call someone a dog, it's dehumanizing just by default, just right out of the gate. And we have evidence that they used that term dog at that time, at the turn of the millennium, to refer to people from other cultures as less than human. They used that term for slaves, for just to justify buy from storm. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, that's what it was for. So, let's see, who do we have? Okay, I think I got about 15 minutes left, so we can bring Mike up as our last guest. But let's do that. How's it going, Mike?
Hey.
Hi. Just for TikTok purposes, you're at least 18?
Yep.
Okay.
Um.
And this is my friend
So
Ember. So yeah. So which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran?
you could say I believe in the God of the Bible.
Okay.
So.
All right. So
what
yeah,
I'm
how would you convince me that this God exists and I should worship it then?
Well, I actually wanted to directly look at your question where it says, I'm non-resistant, I'm a non-resistant non-believer. By non-resistant, do you mean that you are willing to hear other perspectives out?
Yeah, I've been doing this all day. Yeah. I do have 15 minutes. I do have to be somewhere, but yeah, you got about 15 minutes. Okay. So that just should be enough time.
All right. So before we start and go into the specifics of religion, I wanted to see your entire perspective on the likeliness of God existing.
Not likely. There's not enough evidence. Right? Yeah, there's not enough evidence of it. And then on top of that, even if you were to convince me of a God, then you'd then next have to convince me that's your God that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a two-step process. So I wanted to start with the first step. So how do you do you have a good understanding of the cosmic microwave radiation background?
Yeah. That's now the interesting thing about that is, yeah, that's like the evidence of the Big Bang, right? We also have the DESI data that demonstrates that the Big Bang occurred. So what else do you have to add to that?
Okay, so you would say that you agree with the Big Bang theory.
Yeah, exactly. And 68% of scientists say that it is an event that occurred, but it says nothing about the start of existence. So I tend to agree with what the scientists say.
Yeah. So do you want to hear the other beliefs and ideas that it could be? Because there are a lot of different ideas.
Yeah, there are. I would say then
I've looked at all of them actually.
Yeah, I have looked at a lot of them as well. So which is the one that you best subscribe to? Like the one that you believe is the one that is the most true?
Okay. Well, I would say that the most well-known ones would be that it is either 1, God, 2, a multiverse, or 3, quantum fluctuations.
Okay.
So I wanted to narrow it down to God or a multiverse.
Okay.
And then see if you decide to go with Occam's razor or the compelling idea and concept of a multiverse.
It's going to be a tall order because I do believe the universe always existed, and we have evidence of that through quantum mechanics, BGV theorem, all that stuff. So it's going to be a pretty tall order.
So you agree that the Big Bang theory describes the universe from a hot, dense state and proves that and using Hubble's constant and putting it together with the CMBR that the universe expanded from a point. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say a point, a hot, dense state. Yeah. Scientists would say
hot, dense state. That's
hot, dense state. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it expanded from a very deep and hot, dense state, not a singularity.
Right.
And this extremely hot and dense state would have to be so unbelievably hot and dense. But what would cause the expansion rate of the universe to go outwards?
Dark energy.
Dark energy. All right. Explain it. Explain how you would say dark energy is. Because
I wouldn't.
Dark energy.
Yeah. So.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, I can explain it in the terms of, I'll have to look it up, but I haven't read it in a while. Okay.
Dark energy.
Yeah. So.
All right.
So the expansion of 9 billion years after, yeah. So So it's the energy created by the vacuum of space, right? And so
Yep.
So as the hot dense state occurred, the vacuum, the vacuum of space, created an increase of dark energy, and that caused the rapid expansion. It's probably the best way I can put it. So
Okay.
let's just say my explanation is wrong. How do we get to God from here? Because see, here's the other part of it. You're a Christian, right?
I mean, yeah, you could say that.
And do you believe that the Bible is 100% true?
Yeah, you could also say that.
Okay. So then you would agree then when the Bible says, like in Matthew 28, it says, go and make disciples of all the nations and teach them to follow the commands that I have given. So how are we getting here from this whole idea of, dark energy, Big Bang, all this other stuff? How do you get from there in 10 minutes and 20 seconds to making me a disciple?
Okay, well, real quick, I wanted to start with the fact that because of the infinitesimally small size of the universe, it would have a size, but it would be so small that it would be smaller than even atoms and quarks and up quarks and down quarks. And that is the smallest physical points of where anything can exist. So
Perfect.
being at such a small size, quantum fluctuations wouldn't have anything to interact with. It would literally just be pure energy, whatever
Okay.
that would look like.
Let's
As it
say
would not
you're
have a mass.
okay. Let's say you're right. So let's just grant that I agree with you. So let's kind of go back to Matthew 28. So it says, go therefore and make disciples of all nations. So how would you make me, because you would agree when this was written, humans didn't know anything about all the stuff that you're talking about, right? They didn't know anything about quantum fluctuations and dark energy, CMBR, none of that stuff. So how would you make me a disciple?
Okay. Well, during that time, there were certain events and other actual things that actually showed things before they actually happened. Like for example, in Isaiah 9:6, it talks about a person who will be born in Jerusalem to be named Mighty God, and I think that's unusually specific to a later thing in the Bible. Now you would be like, why should I trust the Bible? It's just a book, right? A collection of 66 books specifically, made over 2,000 years by 40 different writers in 3 different languages and 3 different continents. So this is a book across a period of time. And if there were a book that said something that was actually going to happen in another book, that would be...
Well, how do we know that happened, though, in Isaiah 9:6? How do we actually know that happened?
Because in the other, well, actually, historically, most respectable atheist scholars believe that that Jesus Christ was a person who existed in history, but not that he was God.
How do we know he resurrected, and ascended into heaven? What's our evidence of that?
Yeah, well, what I'm trying to say is that if they're talking about a person who would be born in Jerusalem, named Mighty God, and Jesus Christ says that the Father and him are one,
right?
And
but you have to demonstrate that.
All of this
so
stuff.
how do you demonstrate that he's actually Mighty God and he and the Father are one? What's your evidence of that?
Well, he did a wide variety of miracles in front of countless people. So,
and how do we know that happened?
Because people have had eyewitness to it, and they told others about the miracle that they saw with Jesus after he died.
Okay,
God Almighty.
Okay, and then these witnesses that you're talking about, like what independent writings do we have of these witnesses talking about these miracles, outside of the Bible? Because like we have like witness statements of other historical figures, right? And they are contemporary. They made these witness statements and wrote these things at the time these events occurred. So what do we have at the time the events occurred from these witnesses that they wrote these things down, that they documented this, and where can we find this?
Okay. Well, one of the biggest things is that I would actually have to look. I'd actually have to search that up for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any personal knowledge about that specific topic, but what I do know is that when it comes to the idea and concept of Jesus Christ, um, I would say that another good thing that would help the Bible would be to say that if this has no contradictions, then that would be good. But before we even go to there, let's talk a little bit about Judaism and Islam and how they both believe in the Old Testament, and well, no, specifically the Quran believes in the Torah. They in the Quran it actually says that Allah wrote the Torah to Moses. I mean, to Abraham or whatever, right?
Okay.
So there are contradictions in those first 5 books of the Bible that directly contradict the Quran, and in Judaism, which believes the Old Testament, Isaiah 9:6, also invalidates their belief.
Okay.
And that's just one
you've
of the
invalidated
things.
other beliefs, but then that doesn't necessarily make Christianity true, right?
No, not necessarily. But what I would say is that if we are looking at those 3 beliefs and seeing that a lot of other religions try to take stuff from it and change it and adjust it, like those and Mormonism and other beliefs, that if the Bible seemed to have no contradictions whatsoever, then it would just have to be through the work of God.
So no contradictions in the Bible?
No contradictions in the Bible.
Okay. All right. And so if
I've tried to look for them.
Yeah.
I've tried really hard. Looked at a lot of different sources for them, actually.
Yeah. Okay. So, so that being the case, how did Judas die?
How did I what?
How did Judas Iscariot die?
Oh, yeah, I want to talk about that. Yeah, so basically his intestines were brutally combusted and like expelled from him, and that could have been by the work of God or whatever, right? Doesn't clearly specify to my memory, but whatever happened, right? He then, with his trauma and his badly damaged body, since you can survive without intestines for a short period of time, he decided to go hang himself afterwards.
He went and hung himself. Now, was that did he buy the field of blood?
Sorry?
Did he purchase the field of blood?
The field of blood?
Yeah.
I don't remember what that is exactly, to be honest.
Okay. Well, let's go take a look at what it says. Yeah.
It's whatever.
Right. So it's gonna be Matthew 27. I think I'm gonna say like 3 to 10. I think that's what it is. And I think it's Acts 15 to 18. So, there we go. All right, I found it. All right, let's pull up the first one. So we got about 2.5 minutes left, so we can do this real quick. All right. So according to this one in Matthew, he went and hanged himself. Right? It says that in verse 5. Now it says here, he said, "I have sinned by betraying innocent blood." He said, "Was that to see to it yourself?" Throwing down the pieces of silver in the temple, he departed and he went and hanged himself. But the chief priests, taking the pieces of silver, said, "It's not lawful to put them in the treasury since they are blood money." After conferring together, they used them to buy the potter's field as a place to bury foreigners. For this reason, that field has been called the field of blood. Is that true?
I mean, if the Bible describes it, then yes.
Okay, let's take a look at Acts 1, verses 15 through 18. So, brothers and sisters, we'll start at 16. Brothers and sisters, the scripture had to be fulfilled, which the Holy Spirit through David foretold concerning Judas, who became a guide for those who arrested Jesus, for he was numbered among us and was allotted his share in the ministry. Now this man acquired a field with the reward for his wickedness, and falling headlong, he burst open in the middle and all his bowels gushed out. So I think that's what you're talking about right there, right? So
yeah.
If that's the case, then, oh yeah, and I missed another part to it. So let me go to verse 20. And then it says, this became known to all the residents of Jerusalem, the field of blood, that is, so that the field was called in their language Akeldama, that is, field of blood. So this says here that Judas purchased the field. So is that true?
Wait, hold on. Let me see. So yeah, he purchased the field, and then what does the other one say in contradiction to that?
The priest purchased the field. So who purchased the field?
Could I look at it again?
Yeah. So here's it says here, after conferring together, they, the priests, used them, the pieces of silver that he threw down in the temple, to buy the potter's field as a place to bury foreigners. For this reason, that field has been called the field of blood to this day. So that says it right there.
And then the second one.
Okay. Now this man acquired a field with the reward for his wickedness, and falling headlong, he burst open in the middle, and all his bowels gushed out. This became known to all the residents of Jerusalem, so that the field was called in their language Halkeldama, that is, the field of blood. So who purchased it?
So the priests purchased it, and then the priests gave it, or someone else gave it to Judas, and then his guts splooshed out or whatever, and then he went to hang himself.
Well, hold on. The priest bought it, and then somebody gave it to Judas, even though this says now this man acquired a field with the reward for his wickedness. Isn't the reward for his wickedness the pieces of silver?
Yeah, and it would also be this.
Because if you look at the ancient Greek, it says this.
Yes,
this
the reward.
The ancient Greek says he purchased it. So how was he able to purchase it when he threw down the pieces of silver? And
his wickedness would be the pieces of silver.
Yeah, the pieces of silver that he threw down in the temple before hanging himself.
Hold on a second. So yeah, it would be the pieces of silver with the thing, as it says, his wickedness would essentially be the coins.
Yeah, which he threw down in the temple, and then he went and hanged himself. And the chief priests bought it using the pieces of silver. It says the chief priest, taking the pieces of silver, said it's not lawful to put them in the treasury, and then they bought it using the pieces of silver. They bought the potter's field. So that's what this clearly says. They bought the potter's field, but then in Acts it says Judas bought the potter's field. So who bought the field?
It's saying that he acquired the field, but not that he bought it. So
it says with the reward for his wickedness. And what the ancient Greek says is that he purchased it.
Yeah, so since he was so wicked, also when it says acquire the field, that could also be interpreted to his bowels being splooshed out, and that's his reward. The reward isn't meaning literal. It's being sarcasm.
Okay, and how do you know that's true?
Because here's your big present for killing God.
Yeah, but where are you getting
God
that
in
from?
the form of a man.
Yeah, where are you getting that from?
No, it talks about how Judas traded silver for Jesus. So that's literally what this is.
But where are you getting any of that it's sarcasm?
Well, it's saying his reward, and obviously he didn't gain anything since it immediately says that his guts been splooshed out.
Well, hold on. It says here, this man acquired a field. So how did he acquire the field when it clearly says up here the chief priests conferred and bought the field? So how do you get that Judas acquired the field when the priests bought it? Because it says after conferring together, they used them to buy the potter's field.
Yeah, I'm pretty much saying that after he acquired the field, quote unquote,
and acquired,
to get his reward, quote unquote.
Okay, so then why does the Greek say he bought it?
Okay, because it's like, okay, the priest bought it, but then that entire sentence talking about that is in a sarcastic manner, because the immediate sentence after that literally says his guts spilled out.
Okay.
So it's clear that it was talking in a figurative manner.
Okay, and what gives you that impression that it's talking in a figurative manner? Like, how do you determine the immediate sentence before? Okay, and
Okay.
how
So
did you distinguish between it being a figurative language and it just not being not being a contradiction?
because it's saying, oh yeah, he gets rewarded with a piece of land right here. It's a nice fields, and then in this field, his guts sploosh out because of what he did by betraying Jesus. And then after that, what's the word for it? Traumatizing experience, right?
Yeah.
Or there's probably a better word for that. But after that, and realizing what he has done,
Okay.
he
And
has
all right. And
decided to hang himself
okay.
subsequently.
And what evidence do you have of this? Like, how do you know this happened?
Well, no, this is just according to the Bible. I'm saying it doesn't have contradictions.
It doesn't have contradictions, but that looks like a pretty clear contradiction unless you revise it to say, oh well, that's just a metaphor, or that's just sarcasm. But how come scholars don't agree with you? Like, what
Because
scholars
it
agree with
doesn't
you? What biblical scholars, like PhD scholars, share what you just said? Which ones?
because it doesn't say that he bought the land. It says that it doesn't even say that he bought it after. It
Okay.
just says that he acquired the land.
I'm asking you
So
which PhD biblical scholars are saying what you're saying.
I haven't looked at that specific part of that verse, only the
Got
part
it.
with the way Judas died. But what I
Okay.
do know is that when it's talking about this, it seems, since the immediate sentence after it is talking about something horrible happening to Judas, and the one before is talking about something good that happened to Judas, we can infer that that is figurative language,
All
which
right.
is used in Hebrew
Well, hey, listen,
language.
Mike, I do got to run, but hey, I appreciate you coming up. So have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, God bless.
All right. So let me play some appropriate music to end this live.
I feel like I just watched a gymnastics routine.
Oh, yeah. And so did this song come into your head? So that's what I was thinking too. I saw Simone Biles. I saw that one in the chat. I think that was courtesy of Jessica. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess if we just want to like come up with any explanation, but it doesn't seem to me that was like, I don't know. It just didn't. That's like a new one. That was way different than the one I got the other day.
That was.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was
Wow.
so different than the one I
He's
got
really
the other day.
trying hard to weave it all into one story
Sure.
that actually connected.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess, I mean, you could do that with anything, right? You could, if you just start with the premise that the Bible doesn't contradict, and then you have to make up a story to make that happen. Okay, well, I guess
If you try hard enough,
yeah,
you too
can
make it not
make it
contradictory.
Work. Yeah. So
It
exactly.
just might take a while.
Yeah. Any other mods in the live? I know we have the ones over on the YouTube side. We have Blaster Master 80 there. Awesome. And I saw Pseudo Beef Science lurking around earlier, and I saw Rainbow Ash. There's Rainbow Ash, yeah. I don't know if Rainbow Ash is still there. But thank you guys on the YouTube side for doing your thing. You guys do it very, very well. So thank you so much. Oh, look at that. We have one more. Not a mod, but a friend. So just the same. Good to see you as well, Jessica. So how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well as always. It's always good to see you. And
oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I don't see any other mods so on the TikTok side. So but we have been very much graced with Ember's presence. Pulling like a little bit of double duty too. So being a co-host, being
invited Forever Atheist.
Oh, there's Forever Atheist. Okay, there. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I think we got a raid because it just jumped up to like 200 and something. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
Right
it
as
was
we're
like,
about to
yeah, it was
end.
like at 100. Oh my goodness. It just like spiked up all of a sudden, like tripled. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all. And thanks. Welcome in. So Forever Atheist, it's good to see you. So everyone, you're just in time. You can gift the mods and our friends. Yeah. Gift the mods, gift the friends. And we can look for another live to raid. We can do that as well. So we have, you know who is on the Bible guy right now? There's a whole lot of serious trouble that's on the Bible guy right now. You guys know who I'm talking about? You guys know who I'm talking about? Redhead Trouble is on the Bible guy. So we should go raid the Bible guy. We should do that. I think that's a great idea because, yeah, Redhead Trouble. So serious trouble is going on the Bible guy. So we should go over there and raid. And the Bible guy is on YouTube and on TikTok. So we should do that. And not only are we giving Bible God some support, we're giving Redhead Trouble, who is a friend of this, also a friend of our lives, some love. So let's do that. So let's go raid the Bible guy. So all you got to do is just, if you don't know who the Bible guy is, just type it in your search. Yeah, the Bible guy, Dalton. Or I think actually the running joke is people have been calling him Duncan lately. I don't know why, but Dalton, Duncan, the Bible guy. You guys knew who I'm talking about. So let's go raid there. But hey guys, this has been a great Tuesday. I do appreciate everybody hanging out with me today. And we got a little one appearing in there. How's it going? How's it going, little one? How's it going?
Caleb, say hi.
Little man? How you doing, little man? Look at that big smile you got. Very nice.
Say hi, you too.
Hi. Me too. Yeah. So, okay. Well, because he's dunking on Theus. I like it. So, yes, let's go raid and show some support for Redhead Trouble. Oh, yeah. There you go. Ooh, look, you got some lungs on you, don't you? I love it. Oh, I miss those days, Jessica, when my littles were like crawling all over my head and all that stuff. I miss those days. So fun times. I love it. All right, everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you over at the Bible Guy with Redhead Trouble. Just do the whole thing, TBV raid. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya. Bye.
Great night. Bye.